What's going on, family? How y'all doing? Welcome to King Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Mr. Willie Blockchain, Trav Smooth, M. White, Pink, Jacoby, AB, Wolfgang, Real Dope, me, myself, Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talk. What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Man, shit, I'm feeling extra blessed. My daughter graduated today. That shit was
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
man. And
what grade?
Kindergarten.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Marcus.
They had a whole graduation with a gown and everything. Before you say something,
Marcus.
they had a whole. Hold on, let me find her cap and gown.
Don't do that. You know, as a transition, don't call it graduation.
That's what they call it. Our graduation. What a cap and gown.
They used to call it graduation when I was younger for whatever reason.
And everything. She was up there cute doing her little steps.
That's crazy work. We lying to the babies.
Look, when you go from kindergarten to grade school graduation, high school to college graduation, it's a graduation.
Don't do that, man. There's only 2 graduations: college and high school. That's it.
I heard people graduating from marriage, so it's more than one graduation.
God damn, that's some.
It's tough.
That's some nasty work.
We're going to go to get this show started. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button and also make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're catching this on the replay, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribing as well. What's going on, Nike Nelson? How you doing? Angela Swift, haven't seen you in a while. Dory G. What's going on, ma'am? As always. Who else we got? Trevor's in the chat. Aaron, what's good? LD, also a member. Salute to you. Dale Matthews is in the chat. What else we got? Who else we got? Robert H. What's good? Christopher Matthews. Again, as you guys come in, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe. The main topic tonight is who should a man build with? Experience or legacy? Shout out to Mr. Darren McPherson, man. He was on TikTok earlier with this very similar topic. I thought it would make for an interesting topic tonight with my little spin to it. So tonight, fellas, do you build with the woman who's been through it or the one who's still ready to go? Let's square up with the hard truth and expose the real answers. So I am going to open it up with this first question to the panelists. Should a man build with a woman who's already lived or one who's still learning? I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Jacoby.
Oh, well, to me, if we're doing the whole 35 and up thing, I think that he should go with the woman who has experience. Because I think if you're going based off of Darwin's or whoever's channel,
No, hold on. So I know he was doing that over there. So just kind of stick to what's over here without tying it in. So what I did was I just took the similar topic and just kind of remixed it, but I kind of want to go somewhere. So just kind of keep it here.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Well, to me, yeah, I mean, still, it does kind of depend on age range, in my opinion. I mean, if it's a brother who's like, 30 plus or something like that, and he's trying to mess with a 20-year-old or something like that, then, I think he should go with experience because more than likely she'll meet him at his maturity level. You know what I'm saying? As far as relationship wise, and I mean that's just me. Some men don't mind it, and some women don't mind an older guy. It does depend on the maturity level of both parties. So that's where I'm at with it.
All right. Go ahead, Real Dope. It's on you, brother. Should a man build with a woman who's already lived or someone who's still learning?
Well, you gotta think I'm a little younger than maybe some people on the panel. I'm 32. A woman who's still learning. Still learning what? What is she still learning? I feel like it don't matter which woman I get with at any point in life. I'm always gonna be teaching her, because the last guy is different from me. I'm a different style, man to be with. So I'm always be teaching you. So I'm curious, like, if you can give me an example. I don't care if I got with a girl that was 45 right now. I feel like I'm gonna be teaching her, a bunch of things. So
Okay. Go ahead, blockchain.
I want the girl that has the experience, just for the simple fact that the conversation that we'll have will be a lot more fruitful as far as making progress than a woman who doesn't have the experience, because I'm having to teach her stuff. So if it's up to me, I want the woman who's at least, understands, like, hey, these are quarterly taxes now. This is the 941. The women that can speak the same like language that I have to speak on a adult to adult basis in business. Because outside of that, the other people are just going to end up wanting to be a younger woman is just going to want to be, more of the fun. And I don't really, at 41, I'm not trying to teach anybody how to do much. I'm past if you didn't come from my balls, I'm not trying to teach you nothing.
All right. Go ahead, Trev.
I think my take is probably going to sound controversial at this point, judging by the answers that came out earlier. Which I get it. Everybody gave solid reasons for what they said. However, man, I'd rather somebody green, to be honest. I don't really want anybody who's long in a tooth. That's just me, because I would rather be the teacher. I'll teach you how to love me, how to everything me. Generally, when women have the XP, it's not beneficial. That's good for men, but it doesn't translate well for women. They've already lived. A lot of times they're set in their ways and just a hard-headed ass mother lover. So I'll rather have somebody who I can get up to speed, because I'm a quick teacher, man. I think it's a lot more important for them to be receptive, cooperative, because if they are, I don't really have a problem teaching people, because that's easy. You could get a woman up to speed as long as she's willing to listen. So I think that would be more valuable. I think it would be a lot harder to get someone on your program who's lived more. Not impossible, but just kind of a nuisance. And I would try to avoid that headache by any means.
All right, go ahead, White.
So yeah, I agree with Trev and Dope. When the power dynamic that exists between men and women, ideally women ask for somebody that's smarter, taller, in a better financial stance and more educated than them, because women want to look to, in general, right? Women want to look to the man for guidance or leadership and all these things. It's extremely hard to fall into that role when she may know as much or more than you, because at that point she becomes the leader and it throws that off. And some men can adequately operate in that relationship where they don't have an issue with their self-esteem or confidence, and some men can't. Some women can operate in a relationship where they feel they're smarter than a man, and some women can't. I think it throws an extra wrench in a relationship dynamic that will cause issues, except for a small amount of people, like for a niche group of people. Plus, whatever worked for Buddy, that shit probably won't work for me. I'm kind of particular. You know what I'm saying? He might like, or all of these things that I am disgusted by. Like Cardi B X might think it's cool for her to yell and do the little finger smacking and talking loud and shit. That shit is like, that turned me off. You know what I'm saying? On the relationship side. Now, if we talking about a business partner, then yeah, I'd like an experienced business partner. But we talking about a woman that I want to be with, and no, that's not my go-to.
All right. Go ahead, AB. It's on you. Should a man build with a woman who's already lived or one who's still learning?
Well, my personal opinion is that it has to be with the woman that's continually learning, because it's like my brother just said in the beginning, a woman that comes in with experience, she's more than likely set in her ways. So she's not gonna pay much attention to what you're saying, even if it benefits the growth of both of you in the relationship, because she's gonna believe that her way is always right. She's always going to she's going to always focus on what she believes in. She's going to always focus on, well, I believe this because, and then when you get talked to, well, I had experience, but then she will add her past experience into things. And some of those past experiences, one, we already know they're not going to be good experiences that she had in the past that she's going to implicate in her decisions and talking to you. It's going to be based on the trouble and the traumas and the emotional distress that she went through previously before you. So she's going to add that into it because of her experience. So I would choose someone that's still learning, because with someone that's still learning, they're more open-minded to listen to things. They're more, they'll be calm. They'll want to know, especially if they, like you said, they're still learning. So they're gonna want to know. And by you being experienced as a man, in that perspective, you can guide her in the right direction. It's not that you'll be guiding her because of what you want. You will be guiding her of what's best for the relationship, for the both of you. So me personally, it'll definitely be with the one that's still learning.
Gotcha, AP. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Hink. Should a man build with a woman who's already lived or one who's still learning?
Man, look, it depends on, I guess, the age of the man. I mean, truth be told, it depends on the age of the man. Me at my age, I'm done with teaching an adult. I shouldn't have to. You should already come ready made, damn near. Only thing I need to do is just reprogram you just a little bit. Twinkle here, you know what I'm saying? I got to do that. But if I got to go through a whole training regimen, no, I don't want to deal with this heifer. Yeah, she ain't gonna make the cut. So yeah, I'm 49. Ain't no way I can imagine myself trying to train up somebody who should already know who should already have some type of idea how to move and how to operate. Now I know I'm gonna have to teach you how to love me. Of course, I'm gonna have to program every woman that comes into my life when I was on the market. But other than that, that's about the most training I'm gonna do. That and let you know how you need to cook for me. But I landed there.
All right, if I had to speak on it, man, I think somebody mentioned on the panel about having an open mind. So I don't mind like a little bit of experience, but if you can't have an open mind and still want to live some more, then it's probably not going to work. So somebody that's still willing to learn, somebody that doesn't know it all, somebody that can recognize when they do make mistakes or if they need some improvement, I think we can work with that. But if you lived your life and you know everything and can't tell you nothing, then I think that may be a little bit difficult for me. And bring this next question. You want to say something, White?
Yeah, have any of y'all ever had an employee that whatever your field is came with the way that they used to do stuff at the old business? I don't know if y'all ever dealt with that before. They be the hardest people to get right. They was a star of their old business, and the way they did everything there, they think is applicable to how you doing it at your new business. Like,
and they think sometimes they got the same type of stain they had from where they was at.
Right. Yeah. So that is coming with the experience that they had, though, right?
Right.
You see how that goes. So they coming in with all of this experience. Well, this is how it does at my job because I'm experienced in doing it like that. So now just revert that to a woman with experience coming into something you want to build with. What do you think she's gonna do? You're still gonna have to, like my guy said, you're gonna have to reprogram some things, which means you're gonna have to still teach, regardless of whether you want the woman with experience or the woman that's still learning. But which one would be more complicated to deal with? It would be the woman with experience that would be more complicated to deal with. Like he said, she's been an employee at another place, so she thinks she's still coming in with that same mindset into a whole nother workplace. So you can't tell her nothing.
Well, now, even if you was teaching a woman, she can have that mindset. You can't tell her nothing either. That doesn't matter. Her age doesn't matter about. You can teach it to her. She's got to be willing.
She's got to be able to have an open mind and willing.
For sure. I think that's why I use the word. Make some adjustments and some tinkering here, tinkering there. I don't want to have to do a complete overhaul because it sounds like that's what y'all looking to do. Now, I don't know y'all ages. Lord be with you if you got to do complete overhaul because you don't know what you're going to get even after that overhaul. She still could be like, fuck your training and I'm going to do what I want to do. You might have to deal with that.
So remember, I think
I'm 47.
So Hank, the thing I think that we may be missing each other on is it seems as though you're equating it to age. And I'm not equating it to like an older, younger woman. I'm equating it to somebody that's stubborn in their ways or somebody that's trying to learn a new process.
That's how I see it too. I see it how you see it. not the age. You know, someone that's open-minded compared to someone that's stubborn in their ways. That's I see it the same way you do.
I
I'll
think
be
So,
honest.
but
I'm
we,
talking.
but
I'm
you
talking
have,
about kind of
but
age for real. For real.
you have to equate it to age because we talking about when we said use the
It's
word
age.
experience.
Yeah,
So when I
you
think
get
of
experience.
experience, I'm gonna think of somebody maybe with a little bit more, a few graves. You know what I'm saying? So,
Y'all
I mean,
but
I
go
definitely
ahead.
kind
had
of
that
feel
shit.
what Hank is saying, because it's like, okay, whenever you're trying to teach somebody, and if we're talking about like the woman with the experience versus the woman who's still learning, yeah, it does kind of sound like you're saying, okay, older woman versus younger woman. You feel what I mean? And that's why I said myself, I guess it kind of depends on, your age group. Because if you're trying to teach a woman, so called, or have her more learned due to what you know, that's usually a younger woman. You feel what I'm saying? And I'll say this: I'm 27. I want a chick who's more so around my age, because, like Hank, I'm not trying to train you like some dog or something. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have to force you to be the type of woman that I want you to be. Really, to me, it just depends on the woman I run into. If you ain't a good fit for me, you know what I'm saying? I mean, then we ain't got much going on. I shouldn't have to mold you into this certain type of woman that I want you to be. If you not her, then you just not her. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think the name for when a like you? Hold on a second, baby. Hold on. You threw up? Okay. Hold on. I'll be right back.
I
So
think
I'll definitely want to say that there's a little bit of age tied to it for sure. I agree with that, and that's what I was kind of speaking to, um, as part of it, right? And my main thing is just that whole stubborn thing. I think it would be a lot simpler to teach someone that is willing to learn. I mean, I'm assuming that, let's say they both cooperative, but you starting with a clean slate, right? You got a blank canvas versus you got to erase all this shit off first. I don't want to do a rehab either. You know what I mean? I'd rather build something from the ground up. Um, to me, because if you are that foundation that is built on, then it'll be a lot easier for them to flow with that. The main reason that I don't is because the experience that they get is too many things that's going to be in the way. Um, I don't know. I know everybody dates at different frequencies and shit like that. But
right.
if you date a lot of joints, right, and you start to see who listens and who don't, and who like want to go back and forth and all that goofy shit, the headache stuff, you'll find out that it's a lot of the old heads that's really like that. And it's not a lot of women will get it twisted and thinking like it's predatorial or whatever. But nah, it's just kind of like, you know what? This is simpler. And in life, men generally yearn simplicity, right? We don't deliberately make things harder for ourselves.
That's
yeah,
exactly
Fred,
right.
I
That's
know,
where I was headed to with that. When I was about to say that we as men, we look for simplicity. So it would be it would be literally more complicated to deal with a woman that has more experience than a woman that has less experience, because she's gonna go against the grain in most things that you speak about because of her experience that she will implicate in the whole entire growth of the situation or the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And plus, especially if somebody did her wrong, or because we already know 9 times out of 10, every dude did her
Somebody
dirty.
did.
Yeah,
Somebody
if somebody
did.
did, we know that every time. So guess what she's gonna do? If she thinks for 1 minute that what you're saying relates to what she's been through in the past, she's immediately going against it.
Yeah,
Immediately,
the
she will
the
not accept
newfound the
it.
newfound virgins. Oh, I'm celibate now. Oh, that's never again.
Yeah,
Yeah, you start dealing with all of those type of elements where they holding shit against you and all that.
I want to push
Yeah,
back on y'all real quick. I want to push
pause.
back
Go
on
ahead.
y'all real quick. Oh no, damn. All right, you got it. All right, nah, so I'm saying, when I think about it, I just was processing it in my head, and at I would say the time where I was least malleable as far as in my I'm not gonna say malleable. The time where I was least willing to learn and I thought I knew the most was when I was younger. But now I don't have experience dealing with older women, like I ain't, but I can just as I think about it, the time where I was least willing to learn was when I was younger and I thought I knew everything. And I'm curious if, as some people get older, I know some people stay in their ways, but as some people get older, are you more humble? Are you more open to learning? Versus the opposite of, I can't be taught anything because I'm older, and I can be taught a lot because I'm younger.
It
Um,
depends.
yeah,
Some,
it depends on the person. I think age plays a role for some folks, but some folks it could be upbringing. I just think you just got to have a conversation with that person to see where they are. I don't think you can just walk around and think all old folks use logic when it comes to life.
I mean, you got to pick your poison. It's like when you have children. After a while, you get tired of changing diapers. But then when you're not changing diapers, you got to go wipe off toilet seats from piss. You know what I'm saying? So it's always going to be something on either side. You get a blank slate. You got to teach her the ropes. You got to show her everything. If you get someone older that's with experience, you just have to go in and show her that, hey, I understand that where you're coming from isn't a one of one. If it's not a one of one situation from where you were to where you are now. So some of that experience is relevant, but then you have to highlight the parts that's not. Like the processes that we do here differently are different than where you did it to other business. Or in your other relationship, your other man may have let you do these things, but over here with me, you can't do those. So I mean, it's going to be a take back. I mean, it's going to be a drawback to either side. So you just need to make sure that you're the man that can deal with whatever you choose.
Yeah, but something, Will. The funny thing about it, a lot of these younger women have more experience than some of these elder women y'all talking about. They having more experience because they doing more crazy shit. Everything's sped up for them. Like everything is sped up for them.
I'm trying to clarify. Also, are we talking about as far as like dating goes, or as far as like hiring somebody as an employee? Because then I have two different answers. For example, a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old with 10 years experience in the field versus a 40-year-old with 10 years experience in the same field. I'm taking the 30-year-old every time because his experience is more up to date, it's more recent, and it's probably also more effective. That 40-year-old who did it, 20 years ago, but has 10 years experience, he's a dinosaur now, especially like, for example, in the field that I'm in. So I want to make the clarification. Are you speaking about as far as what we're doing when we date women, or when we're just looking for like someone to build with as far as, a business goes? Because I don't think those things are going to be the same.
Who's that question towards, Will?
You.
So I was talking about as far as sexual experience. That's what I'm basing on some of these younger women. They have way more sexual experience than some older women.
Nah, I don't know, bro. Freaknik been a thing for it's a lot. I don't think these young girls got nothing on these 40-year-old women now. The only difference is, bro, it's online.
But Will, not everybody went to Freaknik.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that everything is online now, so we see it. Your aunties and grannies and like our parents were doing some wild shit when they were young. So the only difference is we can see it now because everybody posts everything and it's cool to post videos of you doing nasty shit online. But when our parents were doing it, was on VHS tapes.
Well, the beautiful thing, we got a couple young bloods up here, real dope, and my man, what's that, Jacoby?
Yes, sir.
They in that range. They can tell us something. I'm listening.
No.
Yes.
No. He's right, but at the same time, a lot of these old people like to forget about that Freaknik stuff conveniently. I remember seeing, like, when I was growing up, I remember seeing photos of my big cousins and all that. They had the chicks bent over. They taking pictures and all that. All the chicks bent over. That was like their favorite pose back then. They like to forget about that type of stuff.
So statistically, right? If we're talking about recent generations, Generation X was by far the freakiest, right? There's been a drop off after Generation X. Millennials are smashing less, and Gen Z smashing less. They're on pace to have 10 lifetime partners as far as the females are concerned.
Trev, all of that's nonsense, though.
We gotta go by something. If we're not talking about anecdotal, right? That's what's listed when you start going to the CDC and shit like that. You got at least a ballpark. We know, and they don't just take hearsay into consideration. We got to go by pregnancies and diseases and different things. So they're probably pretty right, or at least in the ballpark. It's definitely a downtrend. And we have more celibacy than ever. And think about how much men are not smashing right now, and the women are smashing men. So they are definitely less active than they were. And like you said, the Freaknik days. That's Generation X.
I gotta disagree. I gotta disagree with that, brother. Yeah, due to my experience, at least, bro. That's definitely not true. And everything is hypersexualized because of social media. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, they dropping they draws everywhere. I mean, amongst all ages, but especially young.
Do you live in a major city?
I live in Dallas.
Right. It's different. You can't compare that. You got to understand.
I
It's
stayed in
all
Kansas
averaged
City too,
in.
bro.
It's all averaged in with the flyover states, the townships where there's no access. So just for instance, right? Let's just say, like when I lived in Newark, right? I could literally bag 20 joints in a day without even blinking. Easy money, right? Now, and where I am now, for me to get, if I were doing that anymore, right? For me to get 20, it would take me weeks.
What? That's not
You
that's that's
They're not outside. They're not like, you
problem.
gotta understand. A lot more
Well,
people
they
are online
outside,
right now.
homie.
It's less access. There's a multitude of reasons for that. I'm telling you, I moved to a different place, and like
Trey, Dallas is
townships
a
are
major
different.
city.
I mean,
Dallas is a
location
major
plays
city.
a part in that,
So-
Huh?
but they definitely
Dallas
outside
is a major
nowadays.
city.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
Dallas.
Dallas is, and that's why I say it reflects his experience because it's a major city.
I'm
That's
from
why it
Dallas.
reflects his experience.
from
That's why he
Dallas
say
too, man.
it's a lot of smashing going on.
I'm from
Trey.
Dallas too, and it was like that when I was in high school. They were still outside doing the same shit they doing now. So, and
Well,
Jacoby's point, he's been in Kansas. I've been others. It's the same thing. It's just, but you can't expect it to happen at the same frequency when you got a city, with 8 million people in it, and then you go to somewhere like Kansas with 80,000 people in it. You can't
Right.
logically expect to see the difference. You see to see it at the same rate that you do in Dallas, but
Trust
as
me,
a
the women
as a
from Kansas
Dallas,
City, if they was out
here's
here, they'd be outside just as much as the women who are outside right now over here in Dallas. You feel me?
okay, so if I can give the word though, what type of, I mean, like we're saying that, are we basing this completely on just sexual experience, or we're talking about like life experience? Because if we're
sexual
talking
experience
about,
is probably the only
okay.
negative thing. I
Yeah,
think.
so I mean, like, because if we're just sitting here, if saying that younger women have more sexual experience than grown women, I mean, like, but we as men, we don't want to deal with a woman that got a lot of bodies. So, you know what I'm saying? Where would that put us if we're trying to grow something, if we're trying to build something? But this, you know what I'm saying? Shorty got mad bodies. Y'all already know. Come on, when we men, we don't want to deal with no shorty that got smashed by 30, 50, 40 different men. We
That's
don't want
But they
that.
doing that today, though, dog. That they
that's one
doing
of the
that
reasons.
today.
That's
Yeah,
one of
but
the reasons why dating older women is problematic for a lot of men, is because the average woman sleeps with 1.4 men a year. If you get with a girl by the time she's 40 and she started fucking when she was 16, do the math. 24 times 1.4, that's a lot. That's a mile of dick. So it's going to be kind of difficult for you to be able to avoid dealing with that type of stuff if you want to follow statistics. You're saying dealing with older women. So that's why a lot of guys feel like, hey, dating younger girls, I'm doing better because I have following statistic that maybe I could find a girl who didn't go to college and was getting trains ran on her by the Howard basketball team. Or I can just find a girl who went to a local community college and now is grown, been in 2 or 3 relationships, and now I'm the third, fourth. You know what I'm saying? We buy cars that have more than 2 or 3 owners, so it's not the same as trying to buy a car that had 25 to 30.
Fam said Shorty just got 5,280 feet of penis. That's tough.
That's wild.
Because
Yeah,
that's a mile, bro.
That's Bonnie Blue. That's Bonnie Blue numbers right there, boy.
Hey, that's tough though, baby.
Lily Phillips numbers they talking about.
Hey, I do want to switch it up. Hold on. Before anybody go, I want to pose this question: do older women bring wisdom or baggage?
Do older women
baggage,
bring what?
wisdom, or baggage?
It depends on who the woman is,
Yeah.
but they definitely bring more. They definitely bring more wisdom only because they older, but that doesn't mean they don't carry a whole bunch of baggage.
Just because
And
they
even
older
with
don't
wisdom,
mean
you
they
can still
wise.
be immature at the same time as well.
No, man, you gotta look, man. Look. I'm gonna cut to the chase on this one, man. Let's just be 100 with this one. No, you gotta understand that women 100% run off emotion before they move off of anything, bro. So
Facts.
pretty much that's gonna be baggage, man. That's not gonna be wisdom. That's gonna be the trauma and everything that she's been through in past relationships. She's not bringing no wisdom to that, bro. She's gonna straight bring. I'm waiting for him to slip up like other mans and them did. She's waiting for that. The wisdom that she thinks is the wisdom, like, okay, now I understand I could do this like this and I could do that. It will be simply for herself. It wouldn't be for the relationship at all. It's the wisdom that she'll be thinking is the wisdom. Oh, I'm smart enough not to get caught up in this. I'm smart enough to know the red flags. Oh, I'm smart. It'll be all about her. It wouldn't be any wisdom to bring towards the relationship at all because she will be moving with emotions the minute something happens that triggers her in her past. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man. We come on, we
Yo,
as men, we know this, bro.
yo, Ab,
But
you dealt with this before,
we also
didn't you? You
got
sound like you
we
dealt with
also
one of
got to
them
be smart.
stubborn ass joints before.
I'm trying to. I
And we,
mean,
hey,
like,
My
we
like
also
phone's
got to
not
be
letting me
we
go.
also got to be honest though. All women bring baggage.
Charger.
They all do. It's just about how much baggage they gonna bring and how much we're gonna deal with and tolerate and trying to make the adjustments on. That's the key. How much is she willing to lay them baggages at the door and don't bring them inside my home, and we can work on what she's dealing with. We all know we're gonna have to deal with it. It's just about how much baggage are we willing to accept.
hey,
I agree.
we will accept a certain amount of baggage, but you got to know sometimes in some of these cases, man, when they moving off emotions, they gonna open their door and grab one of them bags and try to
Yeah.
bring it in there and try to sort something out. Like, wait a minute, I remember this, and they go grab that bag, and they'll keep doing that if we don't stand our grounds as men and hold it down. They'll keep going back to bring them bags back in the crib. B. They'll
Okay,
do it.
Wolfgang. Here's the thing, though. Let's say you found some 25-year-old chick, right? Let's say 23. I really want to say that age for a specific reason, because she's a bit young. She's just damn near got out of her teenage years, but she grown at the same time, right? Here's my
Right.
thing. Let's say she has only been in 3, 4 relationships at most, ain't had too much sexual experience or anything. And like you said, women do move off of emotion. That's facts all day. The problem is if you trying to take her seriously, you know what I'm saying? And let's say she takes you seriously, after some time, bro, she gonna want some experience outside of you. And that's the truth. Cause that's just how they are. And that's how everybody is, even at a young age. At some point, it's gonna be like, damn, I've been with this one guy for so long, I just wonder how it is to be with the trainer, or I wonder how it is to be with my coworker, da da da. And I mean, they got all this, all these ideas in their head that they never experienced before, and they want that feel. Women want a thrill, dog, especially young ones. You feel what I'm saying? So if you're
Hey,
not providing them all those thrills and fantasies, you know what I'm saying, and you just trying to hook them on to a mature relationship, after some time, bro, she might just step outside of you and hers relationship and do her own thing on the side, just because she wants that experience. Nobody wants to grow up and feel like they didn't get to do A, B, C, D. You know what I'm saying? And that's
yeah,
true.
but
I
that's because
disagree with that
yeah,
strongly because
yeah,
it's like I think there's a certain type of woman who is like that, but I think it has a lot to do with what type of a household you grew up, what it is that you value in life. Because I can tell you for sure, I am certainly not surrounded by that, right? That's not what it is. I know personally plenty of people. This is anecdotal, of course, but I know plenty of people who just been with a husband and that's it, right? Like that's all they desire. They if that woman truly loves, admires, respects you, then she's not really checking for that. Women ain't really wired like that unless something went terribly wrong, right? So whether it be some type of trauma or whether it been some type of mishap by the parenting, maybe too strict, not having that balance, maybe no game that was given to them. Something was wrong with that, right? And their value system is skewed. But
So, Trev, you
there
don't think that the younger women today is different from the younger women when you were young?
well, I know I'm still in the mix, so I know what they like. And there's a good portion of them that is jacked up. Understood. We know that, and far too many, right? But what I'm trying to say is that with us as men, we got to be very selective. Put yourself in a position to be able to select for one, and it's not that critical. I know it looks bad because social media really amplifies how horrible it is, but there are definitely enough young women for you to get your hands on who are not thinking in that way, right? And I know a lot of women who don't
I
even
mean,
have
it's a
social
select
media.
few.
I mean, I'm going to say this too. Like if I may interject, fellas, it's all about you as a man too. Because if you as the man is instilling your values and your principles in this woman, she ain't gonna be checking for no other dudes, man. Like my guy said, she's not gonna be checking, especially if you're instilling things in her. You know what I'm saying? Because don't forget, she's open-minded. She want to learn. She want to see. She want to check things out. If you properly lead this woman in a proper direction under your proper leadership with all of your morals, boundaries, standards, and all of those principles like that, she's not gonna go check it for no other dude. She ain't gonna go check it for it at all because she already know. The more your mind is stable, the more her mind will be stable. The more that you know what I'm saying, you place these things within her, the more she's gonna be looking at other things like it's not gonna be worth messing up what the type of good stuff that I got going on right now.
Just so you guys know, I did switch the question.
Oh.
But you guys transition right into it. Can a younger woman really follow a man's vision, or will she outgrow it? Go ahead, Marcus.
A younger
And
woman
I was
will
trying to answer the
outgrow it.
previous questions.
A younger woman is going to outgrow it, dog. I'm telling you now. Just like I said, because he kind of proved my point earlier. Women do move off their emotions. They want experiences. Let's say you with a chick or whatever, right? Let's say there's the 35-year-old guy. He got the 23-year-old chick who ain't been with too many dudes and had way too much experience. You know what I'm saying? But she's always been open to that type of thing. She's day and age. At some point, bro, you never know. She might have had a job or something like that, and the guy that she might get a vibe off of him. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't gonna be with your chick 24/7. And these young hoes, they want that experience. They want a thrill, bro. I don't care what you say, especially if they ain't super religious or anything like that. They want to feel for a lot of different things. I mean, will they say loyal to you? Only for so long. And that's not to say that they can't learn from you or anything like that. Again, based off their emotions, they want the experience, bro. If they come across the right dude, they they might go for it. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing.
That's
Jacoby, I
easy.
got a question for you.
What's
I
up?
want, as do you think that your opinion is based off of your anecdotal experiences and like with women, or is it?
I mean, yeah, bro, because I didn't cheat and I've been cheated on real bad, bro. And then I work with young women too. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, bro, I don't know if this counts for anything, but there's this chick at my job we call Tiny or whatever. She's like 4'8" or whatever, but she's 19, right? She acts super religious. She likes to talk about Jesus. She goes to church on Sunday, Bible study on Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? She makes it seem like she all about God, this, that, and the other, bro. She got a boyfriend and everything now. But the thing is, though, she's surrounded with people at the job who like to go out, kick it on the weekend to Bobby V's and drink and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I work with a lot of females. So it'd be me, maybe 3 other dudes, and like 5 other girls whenever we go out. I had no clue this chick. I mean, she got into drinking and everything, bro. And you know, she got a boyfriend, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? And the last time I saw her, it was about a couple weeks ago. We had went out to Bobby B's. We went to the bowling alley and shit like that, and we had got fucked up at this chick named Lindsay's crib whenever we left, bruh. Bullshit you not, bro. Everybody had left that night. She asked me to stay the night with her at Lindsay's crib. You know what I'm saying? Lindsay, she fucked up to her, whatever. She go to bed. I slept with that girl that same night, bro. She got a whole dude and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm,
That's a nasty bro.
I'm that's how
You
they
probably should
be,
have
bro.
kept that P
No,
and
I
changed the
dig it because
name.
we all done been there. We all done smashed chicks who had boyfriends.
I
somewhere.
mean, but
No,
I'm saying
nope.
though, but she puts on the persona like, okay, I'm this way, and I'm super uptight, and I'm religious. I love the Lord, this, that, and the other, and I don't cheat on my boyfriend, this, that, and the other. But her actions say otherwise, bro. You know what I'm saying? And
Well,
Hey, I just want to
that's
make
all
sure that
religion.
we put a pin right here and revisit the fact that my man said he slept with a midget. Like I want to make sure that we get back
hey,
and
bro,
we
she a
address
bad.
that.
Hey, but she a bad one though, bro. I have to.
Hey, listen, bro. I mean, you can't expect a midget to be, you know what I'm saying, loyal. She ain't with half a person. But I think it's the only way that you're not going to be able to like
She's
to
bad as
deal
hell,
with
though,
stuff like
bro.
this is you really got to be one of them, like one of them ones. Like you got to be one of the men that women actually genuinely admire because that's when a woman is going to actually let you imprint upon her what your plan is, your vision, and stick with it. And as long as you are showing her that there's fruits that come from that, like you know what I'm saying, the lifestyle she wants, the trip she wants, whatever it is that motivates her, whatever her motivational system is geared around, she's never going to stray from you. She may look, you know, she may hear about, oh yeah, you know, it was a dude that had a Bugatti. You only got a Lamborghini. Like she may hear, but she may see it. But unless you got a dummy, she's not going to jeopardize, you know what I'm saying, that proverbial bird in the hand for the one in the bush. regardless of how young she is, because the basic decision making, and especially as opportunistic and as transactional as people have become in your generation specifically, not, I'm saying, just because the way you guys are raised, everyone is going to do what works best for them. And if a girl is cheating on you, you just didn't prove to her that you were worth being faithful to at that stage of the game. And it goes the same thing for women. If a dude is cheating on you, you haven't proven yourself to be worth being faithful to him. So if she places the value on you that says, hey, my man is him. I got a top 1% guy. I live this way. He drives like this way. He's a good man. He takes care of me. You know what I'm saying? He's a role model. He's giving me all the husband vibes. She's not going nowhere. But you just got to be him.
But are you
Let's
so?
go-
Are
let's
you
go-
saying
let's-
if he
let's
doesn't,
just
a lot of
still,
say-
if
these
she's with
young
somebody
chicks-
and she doesn't meet,
a lot of these young
I'm
chicks,
saying-
though, they think that they gonna go out here and just find a man, so they can let Jacoby go, and they think they gonna go out there and find a wheel or a real dope or a smooth or whatever the case may be. That's how they think. A more seasoned woman, she kind of know, yeah, if I fuck this up, I might not get another goddamn chance. I may not get another opportunity at a decent or good man like what I got now. So I'm not gonna try to do anything. But like y'all said earlier, every lady moves off emotion. You just hope this woman who doesn't always move off emotion on a regular basis learn how to kick some logic in there every once in a while.
Do y'all
And
think
so I expect a more seasoned woman to do that. A younger woman, she thinks she's gonna live forever. She's gonna get whatever she wants. The grass is green on the other side. It doesn't matter. Hey, I missed that bus. Another bus coming 15 minutes later.
Lil
Hank,
Hank,
you
that's
think-
not
Me,
true.
me, me, I'm
Hank, that's
saying
not
it's
true
what
at
you.
all. Like the
Yeah,
only
I
reason
say,
Come on, man.
no,
I
Hank,
say it's what you put in the
I know what
woman.
you're saying,
man.
but we all. I don't know about y'all. I just know about me. Like I've been with, like the women that I've been with, they would have died for me. It ain't no. Oh, it's another. I'm gonna have another month. I'm gonna have another dope. Like it was never that. They would have like when we even went after I done left them. Like you know how normally they say it's the guy who's trying to get back, and that was they trying to get back with me. So it all, like Willie said, it all depends on who you are. Like you will be that girl's whole entire world if you him. It's just how it is.
And
The
the
girls they
thing
think they were
about
gonna find another me.
right, so the thing is too, it's like it's like what I tell men and women because I've spoken with like over, I mean like a lot of people, a lot, definitely a lot of women, on aspects, and I try, and I tell them though, it starts with the man. Everything got to start with him because like you said, you got to be him. If you are him, she's there. You feel what I'm saying though? If you're giving her every reason to be, you know what I'm saying, to be him, she's rolling with that. Not only that, it's what you also show her and while you're being him. You know what I'm saying? You're showing her self-discipline, you're showing her self-respect, you're showing her self-control. But so if she's following, if you him, she's gonna try to copy everything that you do. And that's including self-control and not letting herself be tainted by outside influences or looking at things and then she's following it because she see it. No, she see you him, so she's gonna try to be her to match him. But like my man's in them said, if you're not showing her that, of course she gonna look outside.
I mean,
Of course
but
she's
there's
gonna
a
look
reason why we
somewhere else.
calling the younger women the one who is learning still. Again, due to their emotions, they want to get that experience. We're calling the older women experienced for a reason. They already had the experience. How she know that you him for real? She ain't been with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? What if she's thinking in her head, the younger chick, like maybe he's him for real, or maybe he's better than the dude I'm with. I never had the experience. I don't know. You know
Because
what
our
I'm saying?
our
That's just not
metrics
how
are
that works, bro.
measurable, and they pass the eyeball test. If a dude got more money than your dude, like she knows that. She knows if a man is more respected than her man is. If another dude walks into a room and she sees her man get up to go speak to him, she already know who's the him in that situation. So it's not like the stuff that makes us one of those men is hard to identify to women. And I think the only time that you will see a woman deviating from you to another person is when she thinks that man is better than you. I mean, it's just simple hypergamy. That's all it is.
Mm.
I don't even think that's common though. I don't even think it's common that like once the woman like really attach herself to you, and I know this for me, like you can whenever I was with a woman, I could tell like how I could tell like how down it was for me. Like you can like they always got time for you. Always, every second of the day. What you doing? You can pull up on them. It don't matter. They not with no other nigga. You can pull up on them. You can feel it. You know, and you know when a chick is like, oh yeah, she fucking with other niggas, but I don't care because you know she not my chick. You can feel it. I know for me.
So you don't believe that to be the case? Is why some of these women talk about they got a rosters out here?
No, that's just women trying to be men.
We gotta stop deceiving ourselves. We got to stop.
Women.
I know we all think we are the man, but promise you me, let your ass fall off. Let you come up short on some money on them bills. I bet you she gonna call that next
She
dude.
gone, bro.
Because you're not the man.
All that logic we was talking about, all that bullshit you was telling her, it went in one end right after the other. Because as long as you could do it at that moment, she good with you. But soon as you're not doing it at that moment,
bro, that's not
listen. There are some women whose best, greatest skill in life is making men feel exactly how you just described. Like that's what they do for a living. That's what they do. So like there's countless. Listen, the Hall of Fame is written with men's names, right? Who thought their woman was faithful? Who thought their woman was? I could call her whenever. I could pull up on her, whatever. And they don't find out till they're 80 that baby wasn't theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like there's been stories written about this since time immemorial. So it's like for us to sit here and pretend. I think this is an ego thing. It's like it's something that we as men do to protect our ego. We like to believe that if I can achieve this status of him, then that means I'm above all the bullshit. All women will just fold and acquiesce to my every wish and desire. No woman would ever cheat on me and leave me. And it's like, it don't matter who it is, bro. Like you could be the flyest, tallest, strongest, longest penis having dude in the world, and she will cheat on you because she want to feel what a short dick feel like. Y'all might not think that, and you might not want to believe that, but there is no controlling the desires of a woman. If you have a woman that's faithful, it's not because you're him. It's because you're lucky and you're blessed by God, and you should be thankful because that's the only reason. Because at the end of the day, a woman can have sex with a man in the blink of an eye. You could literally go out to cut the grass, and a nigga could sneak in the back door and hit your wife in 5 minutes, and you be none the wiser. And the reason why I know it's possible is because I've been a side dude several times, and you really don't know what a woman's capable of until you're the side dude. The side dude really knows your girl. You know what I mean? Like you think you know your girl, the side dude knows your girl. He knows all the little. He's there watching her when she makes that voice that makes you, oh, I'm just with the girls right now. I love you, baby. I've literally been laying next to girls while they calling their boyfriend, I love you, Papa Bear, calling him all the sweetest names, everything. And she's sleeping next to me. So I'm telling you, bro, like
we all
this idea that being him makes you immune from the female nature is self-delusion.
Cloud,
We're not talking about the majority of women either. We're talking about a small subset of women that are trifling. So that's
small
not
subset. No, it's small percentage. That's not true, bro. That's most women nowadays, my nigga.
So wait, just to be clear, y'all was saying that y'all believe that most women are trifling and willing to do sneaky shit to they nigga.
Hell yeah.
I think most women are capable a lot more than most men think.
That's not what I'm asking. Yeah. Jacoby, are you saying that you think most women are trifling will fuck around and they do? That's that, because nothing wrong with it if you say yes or no. I just want to make sure we're having the same conversation.
All I'm saying is, like my guy said earlier, Wolfgang, women move based off their emotions, dog. And if they want that experience, they will go out and go get it. I don't care who they with. Rich man, poor man, bro.
So if you gave your girlfriend every experience that she ever thought that she wanted, you think that she would still try to find something to go somewhere else?
If she want a nigga outside of me and she's been with me forever, and what's up?
So I'm saying you give her everything that she's asked for, right? All the experiences she says, hey, I want to experience this, and this, right? If you give her that, you think that if she finds out there's something else that she wants, that she's going to go out and the majority of women are going to go out and sacrifice everything they have to get that one thing from someone else?
The question is flawed, brother, because you can't give a woman.
Listen, it doesn't have to be a sacrifice, because just like my dude said earlier, bro, it could be a sneaky link type deal. She ain't gotta, let you go completely. But if she want to experience another man outside of myself, bro, if she wants that experience, more than likely she'll go get it, unless you really with some God-fearing chick, bro. And that's just what it is nowadays.
I agree with that. That's not in what I'm questioning. I'm saying is you think that the majority of women are going to do that?
nowadays, yeah, yes,
Hold
bro.
on,
This day and
we're
age,
not even talking about the
as I
majority
mean,
of
as far
women.
as hey, bro, I'm gonna just say, as far as my experience and what I've seen and what I know, bro, most women nowadays, yeah, if they want to go out and cheat on their dude, they will do so, bro.
Hold
And
on,
I
let's
know
not
that's a
hold
sad
on. Nobody
reality.
even wants to
Oh,
I
go
know
yeah,
that's a
let
sad
me let him
reality,
have it. Let him have it.
but it is what it is. I mean, nigga, let's say you the rich nigga who got everything in the world, bro. She pulled you. How come she can't get another? You know what I'm saying? It might be a broke nigga down the street that she know whatever, but in her head, he might have better dick than you. You know what I'm saying? In her head. And so she might want to go experience that. You know what I'm saying? She got everything paid for. She already with you. It ain't nothing for him to be sneaky link and fuck with him for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? As the side dude, while still keeping you as the main piece, bro.
No,
And
I
Like
get that.
treat her like
that's
a
a real
queen.
thing today.
You could
I
treat her
just
like a
wanted to make
queen and
sure
she
that we
want to
were
get
saying
dogged
that,
out.
we were
treating
saying
her
that the
like a
majority of
queen is
women
not
will
how
do
to.
it. That's all.
So, do y'all believe that once you get a woman who has less partners, that she's more susceptible to do this, or you think she's going to be less susceptible to cheat on you when she has a lesser amount of partners?
If she's had less partners that were worthwhile and meaningful, no, I don't think she is. But if she just had less partners that was all ass and the dudes who guilted her into sex because she stayed with them for a long time, so she only stayed with them because they had sex, like those type of relationships, then yeah, I think she gonna hop on the next smoking dick jumping.
And
Yeah. So, and that's
takes one of
kind
her
of
ratchet ass, but Trent, it only takes one of her ratchet ass girlfriends to put a word or two in her goddamn ear, and
That's true.
don't think she ain't gonna jump because she
Why?
gonna be
yeah.
curious.
So
Why
we
y'all got
talking about
girls with
a
ratchet
specific
girlfriends?
type of. That's what I'm saying. We talking about a
Bro,
specific
wait,
type of
hold
woman
on,
now,
Most
because
of these
that
dudes
ain't even
don't
supposed
vet
to
their
be it.
girlfriend.
hold
Most of
on,
these
no,
dudes don't vet their
That ain't
girlfriend.
even be it.
no, the average.
Do you think the average dude is vetting his girlfriends?
That's
I
what
mean,
we
his wife,
talking.
his
No,
wife,
I thought
I
we
his
were
don't.
woman's
separating.
girlfriend.
I
They're
don't.
not. They're not
I
doing
thought
that.
we were.
No, we
I
got to
thought
talk
we were
about the average.
separating the average man versus the high value man. Like I thought we were separating that. Like listen, my chick friends that she's allowed to have are like vetted by me to some degree. Now
But the average man is not doing that.
that's
Look,
the
I did that
problem.
for my wife. And two of them they had to go. They no longer. I don't play that bullshit. But the average man is not doing that shit. They not doing it.
They,
The
And the
average
they
fact
man
that y'all
can't
have
do
to
it.
do that is a testament to female nature.
yeah, no female
The-
nature is
Yeah,
female
because I
nature
was just gonna
regardless.
say I didn't do that. I just kind of, you know what I mean? I look and I
Y'all do
watch.
that
If that
because
shit
you
works
didn't.
for me, if it works for me, then it's like cool. I don't think we should have to influence who their friends are. They should already be on the same page with that, right? If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But if you watch how they already move and you looking at their circle and all of their friends is sound, all of their friends got their shit together, then that's who you choose. You don't choose a girl with ratchet fence and then tell them, oh, you can't fuck with her. That's not going to
No,
work out.
no, Trev, that's not what I'm saying. So for me, right, I think girls have a propensity to be bad at vetting, right? I just think that's a woman's thing for the most part. So like I take my girl for example. For example, she's nice, like she don't have any ratchet friends, but I can tell when she like got a friend that's like on the cusp, and I'm like, yo, no, you can't, she can't come over my house. Like she like or like a girl that's perpetually single. I don't like that. That's just not where that's not where you're going in life. That's not where you are in life. So like you're probably not going to talk to her a lot, you know.
I'm a huge believer of birds of a feather flock together. So if I see a woman and she got a bunch of friends as hoes, if it's four of her homegirls as hoes, she the fifth, and that she's not
Yeah.
qualified for my commitment at that point. If it was just a physical thing, probably still not then either because hoes are trifling and dirty, and I'm just not willing to put myself at risk by dealing with one. But I've always made it a point to identify who my woman's closest influences are. I'm not going to just say friends because this could be a mentor, a parent, an aunt, whoever. I always make it a point to find out and identify who those people are and get to know them because those are the people who are going to be influencing her when we get into it. Those are the people that she may run to seek advice from. And if you're going to talk to your auntie that's out here still selling pussy, like I probably don't think that's the best person to get advice from when you're having a relationship issue. So I always look at that. But as far as the girlfriend and stuff go, like with my woman, her girlfriends want to go out and do single people shit. She stay her ass at home. But that's not something that I had her do. It's something that she did because it's the type of woman she is. And then when her friends hit her up, she tells me she's like she wants to go, but now I know that's your whole friend. So I'm like, well, cool. You know, the only thing we got to worry about now is why is your whole friend still able to access you to go do this whole shit that she's trying to get you to go do? And it's always when you have a real pretty girl that they whole friends want them to go somewhere because they know they're gonna get the residual dick. That the dudes who come try to holler at the pretty at your girl is that she gonna shoot them down. So they know, okay, well, it's 15 swinging dicks over here. I get to have my pick because I'm the second cutest one. I'm just a little fat, or the one, you know what I'm saying, that probably a little musty or whatever. Like they always gonna try to, you know what I'm saying, and work their way down to get the leftovers. So they want your girl to go with her so she can attract the niggas and get free drinks and shit.
Yeah.
I do got a question for the panel. Then I want to get M. White and Kenny. I know they ain't said nothing in a while like that. Which is riskier, her past or her potential?
The fuck? Her past?
That's on me or Kenny.
Yeah, I mean anybody can answer, but you can go ahead and White because you ain't spoken in a while.
Shit, Kenny got a car.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say I think these conversations sound different to me and maybe some other people on the panel because of categorization and pattern recognition skills. Because I think what we're doing is conflating personality types into just women in general when they're very distinct archetypes for these different types of women. And when we do that, we kind of put like Will was saying, we put the whole friend in the same category as the woman that somebody that actually would vet with wife, and we conflate it so it don't come across as that there are actually women that's not like this. So with my pattern recognition, I'm gonna say the past matters the most because I use that to determine the future. If it's ways you moved in the past, that usually predicates the way your brain functions and works, and it leads to the decisions of the future. So if you understand how somebody moved in the past, that can help you navigate what's on their potential spectrum of potentially, hell no, and more than likely. And that'll really help navigate through all of that.
All right, go ahead, KP.
Top of the top. Peace to the panel. I think the greater risk is a woman's past because if you have her in present tense, that means I would assume you've done the best job to vet what's in front of you. And a woman aligned with your values, your potential, the potential in her is what you mold for the relationship that you're going to have. A woman can put on a representation for a couple of years before you really know the real woman. So now if she's coming in to your fold and you're not clear on what her past looks like, you could be in danger. She could be that thing like Adrea. She could be that thing like Tyrod Taylor's ex that he had to put out the house. But a woman that you have that's on your level, that means that she's present with you. That means you put in enough time to see certain attributes that are beneficial for long-term growth. Potential is always there if a woman is willing to be molded and you are a leader. And you can make a woman into what you need for your lifestyle.
All right. Think about it, Jacoby.
I'm gonna say her past is more riskier because that's her experience. You know what I'm saying? Whatever potential she has, I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. I don't know, but but if I'm to answer that question, her past is riskier because that's her experience.
Anybody else want to add on to this?
It's just a past. I mean, like the majority of we gotta understand too. The majority of men are gonna definitely say it's her past, especially if that past wasn't looking good. That past is, like I said, a pattern. There's a a consistent pattern. Man, she's definitely her past is gonna determine the future, hands down. And if I could add a little something to it though, yeah, but if you ask a woman, if we were to reverse that question, the woman would say that the man's she's more concerned about a man's future than his past, but a man is more concerned about a woman's past and the future because a woman wants to know what she's going to get out of it as time goes. A man is like, man, I ain't gonna get nothing out of it if it's bad. If it was bad, it's gonna be, what I'm saying, that pattern is still there. Just saying it in most cases. So for me, it's the past.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because I think it's the past too, because our past could really affect my presence. You know what I'm saying? What she did in her past can affect about what I'm going now. Whether it's an old relationship that the crazy baby daddy that she might have been dealing with, or the crazy ex-boyfriend that she dealt with, or some of her skeletons she tried to hide away because she moved to a different city. Yeah, that can affect me for sure. So I definitely think it's the past.
It's a news article or a TikTok video article talking about a guy's been married for 60 years and found out that his wife cheated on him when they had first got married
yeah, I saw
58
that.
years ago, and he
Yeah,
divorced her ass. Like
sure
a
did.
woman's past is the most dangerous thing about is the most picking a woman with a bad past is probably the most risky thing a man can do, especially if he's a man that's done something with his life. Like a woman, you met your wife. How would any of you guys feel like if your wife, you found out she was selling pussy when she was in college? Like that's a game changer for 90% of men. Like,
Man.
so your past, and then now if she had the potential to do it, that would just be like your wife do. Somebody walking up to your wife and like, hey, I'll give you $1 billion for that ass, and then she think about it. Like that's her potential to do it. But if she was actually taking 500, 1,000 on a weekend, you know what I'm saying, on in-call type shit, you're not gonna view her the same when you find out that she did that. It'll negate everything that you've done before that, or all the good times, all the bad, all the times she made you feel special. You just found out that you done married a hoe.
Because you go,
Not gonna stay with her.
hey, because you're gonna be thinking about how many other dudes she may feel special. you feel what I'm saying? That's what runs
Yeah,
through a
he
man's
slipped
mind.
out and she reached down and put it back in. It was like with the same money she took me saying she took the money with. Like no guy's going for that. So a woman's past is the most important thing about her.
True.
Hey, JR, before we move to the next topic, I wanted to just wanted to address something from like the last one we was talking about. I was about to just talk about the and I guess I was about to just talk about the like the friends thing, and only for me because I'm a little bit younger. I know like when I met my girl, she didn't have a lot of friends. She's studying abroad, so all her friends are in Brazil and over here and over there, doing they doctors and stuff like that. But like for example, like my girl will come home and she'll be like, yo, I met this girl and she's really cool and she's married. So she'd be like, yeah, like, and I'm just excited that we can like, we might be able to be like, she already knows in her head, like to not meet a girl and if she's like a bimbo or she's single and all that type of
Bro
stuff.
said a bimbo.
Yeah, like she like, oh, she's married. So like maybe this is an opportunity for me to I can really be friends with her, like, and we can be married friends and all that. Like she know it, like she only want to, just like me, I'm only going to be cool and God's just on my time and God's just headed where I'm going to. She know the same thing. She know that I'm not like you. I'm not gonna let you have a friend that's not headed where we going. So it's kind of like the same. I'm not saying that I handpick all of her friends and all that type. I don't do that. But you're not going to bring nobody around.
Really?
Out of pocket. I'm gonna say something.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Cloud.
Oh no, I'm good.
Somebody pissing?
Now look, I look at it like it's real dope. I don't see nothing wrong with it. If call it what you want to, it might sound like a controlling. I tell them to kiss my ass. I tell them to kiss my ass. If you think I'm controlling, I'm doing what's best for me in my home. If that's what I got to do, if that means I got to cipher through these bullshit ass friends of yours, then so be it. Because I know they mean you no good, and I don't give a damn. Family members included, they got to get evaluated. Why not? Look, I evaluate my son's friend. I evaluate my daughter's friend. So anybody who's going to have some type of influence in my life, my wife, my kids, it doesn't matter. They got to get evaluated. I evaluate my own family. And there's certain family members, I don't deal with them no more because I know how they move and how they operate, and I can't be with them. That's some bullshit. Do what you got to do, real dope.
I look at some of my employees when we have team building exercises and they bring their spouses to them. I look at them because I can already tell what I'm fixing to have to deal with when I send your ass out to overseas on a client call or whatever. Because now your old lady gonna be mad, and seeing the type of relationships that these men have, it also lets me know what I can expect from them as a man. Because one of the things that I think a lot of us men forget is that we're going to be judged by other men that we respect based on the woman we choose because she represents us. So when we go out and your woman is making eye contact, smiling in everybody's face, being super friendly, other men are gonna think
Good
your woman's
eyeball.
going. You know what I'm saying? So it's, or if she, like, you know, she could have had a past. You know what I'm saying? So, like, say example, me and Dope go out somewhere and I got my girl with me, and then one of his friends like, bro, I think I used to know her. And then he showed me an email where she done confirmed the trip, or, you know what I'm saying, a hotel reservation or some shit like that. It's like, you really, like, I can't express in words how important it is for men to make sure that before you attach yourself to a woman, you do a thorough investigation, for lack of a better word, into who she was before she got with you, because those type of surprises can be so damaging to your reputation that you can't recover from those easily.
All right, go ahead, Clyde. You wanted to say something?
Facts.
No, I was just thinking, all of that. You could do all of that, or you could just stay unattached, and then you avoid all them problems to begin with.
Man, these cars got 2 seats for a reason, bro. You need somebody on the other side.
You can throw your luggage there.
Nah, Club gonna have somebody
You
in
grab your stuff.
Club
Man,
gonna have somebody in the other seat.
Put a dog there. You can put a cat there. You can put a rabbit there. A bearded dragon.
we putting a
You
cat
put
and
a
dog.
stuffed animal.
Clout, you sounded kind of black pilled today, man. What we doing, man? So what would you recommend for like somebody who want to like raise children in a dual parent household? Should you just be co-parents and that's that, or like
Nah,
buy a lottery ticket?
I think if you want to have children and co-parent, you should get married.
Let me ask y'all a question. How many of y'all see, like, you don't have to say nobody names or nothing, please don't use the example, but you see relationships and you see the woman and you can see all the red flags on her, and the man that she with is missing it. Do y'all often see that?
I've been to maybe 5-6 weddings in the past year. 3 of them I was like, they're not gonna be together, you know, soon. All 3 of them people have. So I'm petty, right? When I go to a wedding for one of my partners, if I don't like your wife, I give you my divorce attorney's card and then some money for his retainer. These 3 people got that gift from me, and all 3 of them are using it as we speak. I'm talking about they had weddings in August, September, and November. It's June, and they already going through it because, like, it's obvious. Like, some of the, you know what I'm saying? We've all had some vagina. We all had a woman who had us, like, sold us that dream that Cloud was talking about, made us feel everything we wanted to feel, had us feeling like we was a king. So we were just overlooking shit that if she was, you know what I'm saying, not doing those things, that we probably would have not dealt with. Every time that happens, I try to do my best to say something. Like, if Jacoby, I'll be like, say, bro, listen, I would try to tell you, like, or ask you questions like, have you thought about this, that, or the third? But none of them did.
You hating, bro.
Exactly. But then I feel like I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't say something to him, because now, like, say, Mike, we was out, and then, like, I saw your girl, but I'm not with you. But I saw your girl doing some fucked up shit, but I didn't mention it because, you know, could have been whatever. But now you proposed to her, like, I'm gonna feel played because, like, or bad because I didn't tell you, like, what she had done, because that's probably gonna affect your decision.
But here's the thing. I've been in that situation several times. Even some of those women that hit on me and snuck and got my phone number out his phone and tried to get at me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I told the man, that shit usually backfired on me.
Every time.
He would lash out at me and stay with her. Then keep it to
now you can't come around no more. Oh, I don't like him.
That tell you about more about your friend, though.
He was a teammate. He wasn't a friend.
Oh, okay,
you know what I'm saying? He was a teammate. And what I found is the men, it's 2 things that I kind of equate to men. Like, you know, you were saying you judge men based off of the relationships and all those things. I do the same thing, but with this caveat. I'm also judging they, like, predictive ability. So, like, you know, when you texting, outer words will pop up and shit. I think that certain men, myself included, can see predictive behavior. And that's why you could look at that woman and see he's ignoring the red flags. I really don't think everyone can do that. And I'm trying to understand, like, because you never know your experience outside of yourself, how other people perceive the world. And I think there's something that it's even further than they just ignoring the red flags. I think sometimes they just can't see it.
I think it's a strength.
You talking about like discernment?
It takes a lot. It takes a lot for a man to walk away from a woman. That's why a lot of guys stay in relationships longer when they're unhappy than a woman will. It's hard because we feel like we got so much time invested. We done did all these things, all these memories. We don't want to start over. So, and then the strength it takes for a guy to like, stand like tell a girl like, hey, you do this, then I'm gone, and then actually be gone. That's rare. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the majority of men are capable of doing that. And I don't blame them, but at the same time, like you said, it's really important that you can tell or you can see some shit coming, because if I'm a I told you so friend on the back end. So, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't see the shit and we tried to warn you about it, I kind of like, now you got your new girlfriend, you already know you looking at her funny.
Like, I think the problem too is like a lot of guys, like a lot of men are told that like sticking through tough times and certain tough times makes you a better man. It makes you a realer man. You know what I mean?
That's a big piece.
I don't even think it's
that. A lot of times a man will be suffering in a relationship. He'll see the red flag, but he figures, you know what? If I'm a real man, I can fix these problems in her. I can guide her the right way out of these red flags. If I just put some stability in her life, she'll give up these old ways. She's only going through this because of her trauma, and I'm here to fix that. And that's why we created the term Captain Save-A-Hoe. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it comes from. But yeah, a lot of guys believe that, and because of that, they're not willing to leave because their ego's too tied up in believing that they're the solution to the problem.
So the funny thing is, my ego is set up in a way that I do believe the same thing. However, my laziness refuses for me to actually do it from 95% of the women.
Hey, I believe it's football practice.
I'm not going to waste my time doing that shit because I don't have to. That's how, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can just I ain't got to deal with none of that shit. I see it and I do think that shit. I ain't gonna.
I think football practice is to blame, because there's a lot of people who were starters, but it's the people who never got to play, but they was at every practice, at every game, riding the bench all 4 years of high school, because sticking with it made you a man. Your parents didn't want to let you quit because even though you wouldn't get no burn. I think that's one of the first things that we do to kids that teaches them and sets them up for failure later. Like if you're not being served by what you're doing, like I'm not trying to be funny. I don't want my son going out and risking getting hurt while he playing football just to get, become a man and get tough. I can go put him in box or something else for that. But we playing football and then you don't touch the field the entire season. That's the very first time I think most men learn to stick with something that's not working for them.
I would disagree with that perspective that y'all got right there. But I understand it though. I think that most men, we're just conditioned to endure, not because we want to be men. I just think that like it's just something that we just ignore stuff. Like whenever I get sick, I don't go to the doctor. Like I don't take medicine. I don't do that, and I don't do it because I'm trying to be a man. I just don't care.
Big boys don't cry. I'm pretty sure you heard that as a youth. I'm sure you heard big boys don't cry.
No, I heard that, but like I just don't take medicine because like it'll go away. Like men, most of us men don't go to the doctor because it's just like, yo, we'll deal with it. It is what it is. I don't think that men,
because our identity is wrapped up in strength.
Yeah. But no, I don't think that men stay in relationships because they like, you know what, I can fix this. I think they like just no, I hate my life, but I'm just gonna sit here. It is what it is.
That's what I was saying. Too weak to leave.
Yeah, it's more of that versus like the, you know what, I can fix this, and I'm a man. I can endure this. I don't even think that's the mindset. They just like, I don't know.
I think
it ain't literally that's what y'all was saying
about them being weird or nothing like that.
In the beginning of the conversation, y'all was saying, I'm him, and if you're him and you provide a woman with all the things that she needs, that she's not going to stray. So literally what y'all started this conversation with, I'm bringing it back into the conversation. That is what a lot of men believe. A lot of men believe that as long as he's him, as long as I'm him, if I make the right amount of money, if I give her the right amount of orgasms, if I buy her everything she wants, if I take her to the right restaurant, if I got the right clothes on, if I got the right jewelry on, the right car, she's not going to want to sway. She's not going to want to leave.
So
with that, right?
I agree with Clout because our problem is we try to think as men, we think from a logical standpoint. Well, this adds up, so it equals this, and so this should be the outcome. That's not how women think, and that's why men stay in bad relationships for longer, because we try to use our logic and make sense of everything, and it's just not the same way with women. That's why it's easier for women to get out of relationship because they go based on how they feel, bro. And I think what we keep trying to do is keep trying to compare women's logic to ours, and it just will never be the same.
And using logic, like if I logically do this, then she'll logically do this, and it's like she don't function based off those rules, my brother.
You can't use logic Like, because the logic has to say that women don't use logic. So, like, if we're using logic, logic tells us that women are emotional, so that we can't just use like some basic logic because we're wise, right? We know women. We have to learn women, and we know that sometimes they can be neurotic and all these other type of things. So we have to use that as a part of that equation. Like, you can't just treat a woman like a queen, right? If you too nice, women don't like men who are too nice. But a lot of guys think, oh, if I'm nice to her, she'll do this. But we lived that. We all been that guy before, and we learned we can't be too nice. It got to be a balance of like, yo, she got to
And that
respect
don't
me.
and it don't make sense to us. Like, damn, I'm being everything that a woman could ever want. You know what I'm saying? But she
Yeah,
still
but
don't
what,
fuck with me like that. That's what I mean by these women go based off their emotions, bro. They gonna do whatever it is they feel like doing.
well, no,
You know?
it's about understanding that part of it. So just like that one thing we mentioned, right? What happens? It's about being able to break that down into logic. It seems bad, but when you break it down, the woman actually won't trust you can secure her because you won't establish boundaries. So all those shit tests and stuff like that in the beginning is how she's going to perceive you to deal with other situations. So if she think you pussy with her, then that's gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, he's just pussy altogether. You know what I'm saying? So it's really that's the main thing about it. So you can approach women logically. Don't expect them to be logical. But if you learn how to break down their emotions, why they
You
do
have to
what
have
they do,
emotional intelligence with women.
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's
Even
all
though
it
they
pretty
don't have
is.
much.
Even
Yeah,
though they
That's
that's
don't
all
why
have
it
that
is.
example with Tom Brady is so like. I see people bring up, but Tom Brady was this world class football player. He won X, Y, Z. None of that shit matters in relation to how
Yeah.
women logic compute or any of the other like Bill Gates, like the people that use. I'm like, the way you're using that lets me know you don't really understand how women operate, because you could be the
Right.
richest man in the world and miss 95% of the other things that she need or she feels she wants in order for her to connect fully to you or to view you as him. A lot of times
Right.
like men somehow believe that a lot of men believe that if I make enough money, then I'll be she'll just look up to me. And it
Hey,
does not work.
real quick, my dog. Are you saying that that lets you know that I don't understand how women think?
No, not you. I'm saying
Oh,
like in general. When your previous statement brought this to my mind, right? I've heard a lot of men throughout the whole space use the Tom Brady or Michael B. Jordan or various
right.
other celebrities that women didn't capitulate to the way they thought they should have, because on paper he the perfect guy. She can't do any better than that. But the way men view things is not the way women. It's like we're
Right.
trying to put our standards onto the women
You
the same
can't.
way they try and do that with us with their achievements and
It's
education.
not. It's not about being that man. It's not about
Well,
being him. It's about being
we didn't
her
make that standard.
version
Her,
of him.
her version.
But
Exactly.
Thank you.
keep in
Thank
mind,
you.
guys. Keep in mind, guys. We didn't make that stand. Like, we didn't say Michael B. Jordan was that dude. They did. Like, they decided that. Like, all
No.
them dudes that like they're the ones who are saying that that's what they want, and then they're not choosing the
No,
guys. So
Clout, if you're
y'all are
listening
making
to
it seem
women,
like men are seeing it that way,
no,
and men are holding Michael B. Jordan up to be this dude. No, it's the women who said that he was that guy.
Clout, if you're listening to women in the first place, that's the first place you go wrong. You have to know them better than they know themselves. We all know they don't want a Michael B. Jordan. We all know they think he's handsome, but he's soft. Well, I'm
You
sorry.
gotta-
I don't know the man, but it seemed like he was like,
I mean, in fact,
not,
hey,
he didn't have
Steve
leverage in
Harvey's
that
wife,
relationship.
she cheated on him with the chef and his personal trainer, and her personal trainer, and so on. They make way less money than he do.
Yeah, it's not about
Shit
the
Yeah,
like
money.
that.
But
It's
but
not
with
about the
Steve
money.
Harvey,
It's
Shit
everything
like
else.
that.
even though he was much richer, you talking about Steve Harvey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he was much richer, she settled for him. Her original
She
archetype
Yeah.
that she liked was a dope boy, and that's a
Right.
different energy than a
Listen.
comedian who felt he had to get the money in order to get the woman. That's the
Yep.
ultimate level of putting yourself underneath the woman, no matter how successful or back to the example of a woman that looks down on you will never treat you like her king. She'll always look down on you, no matter how
Facts.
much money you make, no matter how many achievements. And Steve Harvey fall victim to that. And it could be a broke nigga that she actually does look up to. Like if Buddy come home from prison and she felt he was real solid and he don't got none of the money Steve got, she'll fuck around, divorce Steve, and go be with him and live the rest of her life.
You gotta look
And
at
I
Y'all
said that
proving the
earlier. Hey,
original
look
point.
at Will Smith and Jada,
That's
bro.
literally the original
Same
point.
shit.
That
Jada
y'all are
ain't shit, bro. But Will Smith, he tried everything he can in his power to make this bitch happy, and she still ain't satisfied. And he has way more going on. Man, bro, I don't even know if we really would know Jada like that if it wasn't for Will, bro. In my
Jada,
opinion,
Jada
You know
would
what
have
I'm
never
saying?
cheated on Tupac.
Mm,
She would have
If
never cheated
Tupac
on
was
Tupac.
alive, hey, bro, I'm just
She
saying.
wouldn't have let
And I
them.
said this earlier.
if I think it's the easiest way to understand women is don't listen to shit women say. Look at who they fuck with. If you look at who a woman is fucking with, that'll tell you everything about her.
That's
If you
exactly
look
what
at the man a woman is looking for and fuck what she's talking about, but like look at like you know what I'm saying, you got to get to know her and be in like them group chat conversations, like especially being in them with a bunch of females and listening to how they talk about men and the men they with or the men they date or whatever. You can tell that there's a stark difference between the women that the men that women say they want and the men that women fuck. And it's the men who women fuck are the guys that they actually want, but they can't get them to commit to them long term. So they'll go pick a Steve Harvey, you know what I'm saying, because he's willing to commit to them and still can give him some of the things that other
Stability.
dude can get.
I do have
And
another
that's what
question.
I was trying to explain earlier to y'all. Because remember, I said women go based off their emotions, right? Because you
Mhm.
can have, she can have the nigga that has everything, but if the broke nigga down the street in her head, if she think he got better dick, she gonna go after that dude. And that's just what it is. If they want the experience, they're going to go out and go get it, bro.
I have no
Especially
argument there.
if you know what I'm saying. Especially if she ain't no God fearing woman or no shit like that or super religious, bro. I mean, women just want to feel. They want to experience their feelings, and
Hey,
that's the
don't
truth.
give religious women a pass. These church girls are some
I
of the
mean, I
biggest
don't give
dick
them
eating
pass either,
demons.
bro. I mean, I'll give you that.
Because church girls are some of the biggest dick eating demons on earth. So don't give these church girls no passes either.
Yeah, no, you hey, facts though, facts.
Church
Hey,
people.
I do got this other question right here. Is beauty more valuable than loyalty?
No.
Well, it depends. It depends on what we're talking about as far as value. So, as far as valuable to us, of course not. But like it's like when Willie was just talking about women. When Willie he doesn't care what women say. He cares what they respond to. Right? He cares who you're fucking. So at the same time as we can say like, oh, we think loyalty is more valuable, but at the end of the day, which women are going to have more success in the dating pool? The beautiful women or the loyal women? Like, who are men going to respond most to? So it's different types of,
I would think that
Loyalty only matters if you're trying to keep them. You feel me? If you ain't trying to keep them, it don't matter if they're loyal or not.
Yeah, if like you're saying, if you're trying to like Clout say, stay single, unattached, uninvolved,
You got
then
less
it don't matter.
problems.
But for the average guy, right? Because we can't speak about. We'll just say that everybody on this panel, and I'm gonna include Kenny, is like a top 20% dude, right? So we can't talk about us. We got to actually talk about the other 80 because that's the majority. So if the majority of men, you ask them, they're gonna say loyalty because most of them can't even reach the beautiful ones. That's not, they don't have access to those types of women. So they're gonna go loyalty 10 times out of 10 because that's what they have access to. Now, if you flipped it and you said that, hey, most women were loyal, and you're saying most women were loyal, but a fewer beauty, and then beauty would be the thing. But it's just supply and demand. There are significantly more attractive women than there are loyal women. So with loyalty being at the low end of availability, more men are going to value that.
Well, Willie, that's the thing. You said if you ask men, what will they say? But if given the opportunity, which woman would they actually take?
The loyal woman or the pretty woman?
Yeah, most men.
They still taking a loyal woman because I mean, at the end of that's the one they're going to be able to keep.
I don't know, man. I feel like most men.
Like mind you, most men. I'm not talking about us. Most men. They're gonna take the loyal because for at the other end, for us, both of them come with everybody's pretty. Yeah, because look, everybody is pretty now. When you get to that certain level, everybody is bad. So you don't have to pick between the two. Like you can require your woman to be pretty and loyal, but that's just
Will.
a few.
They not
Not a lot.
I think they taking the pretty chick because a lot of the stories we hear come from them trying to get that woman that they couldn't get. They didn't care if she was loyal or not. Like in our example, yeah, we wanted both, and we, to my knowledge, everybody got both, and they for what they value. But the men who tell us about their experiences that are negative, it's coming from, like we said earlier, ignoring the red flags. So they're choosing to look over. I seen a TikTok of some other dude saying he don't date his type no more. But it took him 15 years before he got to the point where he was saying, I'm not gonna fuck with these type of women no more because they don't fuck with me that way. And I'm just going out my way. That's when niggas get the trying to impress them on first date, spending
like you, man. Yeah,
doing all that extra shit that they can't maintain, and because they're reaching for that woman. Now, if they ever get some sense and they value loyalty like we all would. But I don't think in the original question, I think that the majority of men value beauty but can't get that beauty and settle for loyalty once they exhaust all their resources and energy trying to get the beautiful woman.
I see
And
what
they
you're
won't say it either. They won't admit it either. I think most people don't know who they are. They know who they want to be, right? So they want to be somebody who actually values loyalty, but at the end of the day, they always going to choose beauty if they have the opportunity.
Facts.
I don't have no pushback for that, Marcus. I think I see what you're saying now. I think that kind of changes my perspective a little bit now. I think about it.
Next question: do her kids make her stronger or more complicated?
Her kids or our kids?
Do her kids?
Oh, nigga, that's
complicated. Full stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a unanimous, more complicated. And I won't date a woman who doesn't have kids, or typically speaking. So I don't know.
You said you wouldn't date a woman that doesn't have kids?
It would be very hard for me to date a woman who doesn't have children.
You have kids?
Of course.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
don't pull out shit but a debit card, bro, or a credit card, man. We not. Like my son. Yeah, I got a son in college, so yeah, I've been irresponsible for a long time. But I don't think that a woman having kids makes things complicated. But for me, it makes things. It's a complication I'm used to and I benefit from, because a woman with children, she's going to understand that I just can't get up and go do something on 15 minutes notice. I probably can't pull up on you for lunch. I can't just get away this weekend. I got shit to do, because they also have those same things to do. But the majority of the place where I leverage that is in business, because of my schedule. So if I tell a woman I have to work, she's like, "Oh, you busy?" And they assume that I'm doing stuff for my kids, because I coach his football team, his baseball team, basketball, all of that shit, right? I can't even hoop and I'm a basketball coach. It's crazy. But so my time commitment to my kids being what it is, when I'm working, I don't get any pushback there, because she understands just what I'm doing. So a woman who doesn't have children and is free to move around as she sees fit, I just don't want that headache. Unless she's super, rare and understanding, I just don't want that. I don't want that responsibility. And then two, I don't want to make a woman choose between loving me and being fulfilled as a parent. I'm not having any more kids. So I don't think that woman should have to choose between being fulfilled as a woman via motherhood and then, being loved and protected by me, because that's not a fair decision for her to make. I had kids before I met her, and if she meets me at 40 with no kids and wants one, I don't believe that I should make her sacrifice that just for a relationship with me.
Yeah, I know for me, I've never actually dated. I got kids. I've never actually seriously dated a woman with kids. But when you think about it logically, women tend to get into a protective mode when they have kids. And I know that I could never be in a relationship with a woman who doesn't allow me to be the leader of my household. A lot of women, they'll protect it. You won't be able to discipline them, and it's like, how can I discipline my kids, but then I look at your kids and I'm like, all right, wait till they mom get home. I'm like, hell no. This whole house gonna move as a unit. Like, you're not about to do the, that fearful thing of like, oh, I just don't want you to, like, no, you have to trust me. You have to trust me as the leader. If I'm your leader, you got to trust me as the leader of the kids and stuff like that. So I do think it complicates everything, because the woman always has to have the interest in her head. She always has to have the interest of her child, and she'll never feel like you have the best interest of her and her child for the most part.
So are you talking about corporal punishment?
Real quick. Hold on, let me ask you something, Trev. Corporal punishment. So you have kids. Why you didn't marry your child's mother?
I was young and I wasn't. There was like situationships where I just kind of dealt with a woman for a long time. I just kind of like, I was dealing with women for a long time, and we ended up having kids. And it was never something that I necessarily planned to do. So yeah, like it just didn't work out. I was the type of person that, like, when I was younger, it's like the second that I'm like, oh, this is not gonna work, it's not gonna work, I'm out. So
how old were you?
25, 26.
25, 26.
I had all my kids between 24 and 26.
Your frontal lobe is developed at that point in time. So when did you realize that you was just making a baby mother and being a pookie?
Well, for one, I want to make the distinction that like I don't care about like I was my I don't care about like the I never cared about the whole marriage thing. That was never like a me thing. Like I gotta marry my baby moms. Like I grew up, I'm from the hood. Everybody I know got baby moms. So like my mindset isn't like, oh, I'll get married. You get married and then you have like, no, you can have baby moms. You can co-parent. Like that was always that's my
So,
that was
if
always
you're
my
saying
view.
everyone had baby moms, that means you were impressionable. That means you weren't the leader.
Oh yeah,
What the fuck,
I wasn't
bro?
a leader. I'm a leader now. I was always. What do you mean I was impressionable? Yeah, I grew up in a certain environment.
Because
I was of that environment.
You used the trope that everybody was doing it. So when in Rome, you
You
said
do what
it.
the Romans do.
You said it cavalierly, like it was cool.
Yeah, not even just that. My family, my dad never married my mom. My mom had a husband, but my dad never married my mom.
Which
This
part
is my
about
whole.
that makes it right, though?
I don't know who else is from the hood here, but like this is natural. This is my community. This is what we do. So I was only doing what we do.
So it's natural.
You can't expect me to take you seriously.
Got you.
Yeah, it's natural. Yeah, it's what, and I'm. That doesn't mean that I'm advocating that I think that that's the best way and the most optimal way to go about life at all. No, I believe in marriage. Like me and my lady about to get married soon, so I believe in that. But you just you do what you do what you know. You know you only know what you know. So
Bro, Kenny said you were a pookie, bro.
That's cool if I'm a pookie, but
that would fit the archetype of being a pookie, that you are mirroring what other people are doing around there and you're creating baby mothers. That would be within that ballpark.
I would disagree, and the reason I would disagree
How so?
So to be a pookie, you have to be a bum, right?
That's what I thought.
Not necessarily.
To be a pookie, you gotta terrorize the hood. You just making broken homes, right? And broken homes in a way of like you're not taking care of your kids. For me, hold on, let me finish. For me, I got my kids 5 days a week. Like my kids go to school. With me. They see their moms on the weekend. I take care of everything. My kids. I have a trust. My kids are in my trust. Like I'm with my kids at every practice, every day. We got a schedule. Like we at wrestling. I'm right there. I'm not one of the only parents that's like right next to them. Like, no, you're cheating. Do your jumping jacks. So if that's a pookie to you, that's cool.
Okay, so I'm looking at it. You made a false promise so you could get in between that woman's legs, and then you didn't see it through. Okay. Bob Marley had a line saying that,
real quick before you build on that foundation.
May I finish? And you can have that. Bob Marley had a line said, to awaken a woman's love and not be intentional makes you a coward. You understand? Okay. And you just gave a dynamic that said, when in Rome, I was doing what everyone else was doing. Your frontal lobe was already developed. You knew right from wrong when you was doing that, right?
That's right from wrong depends on where you grew up at.
We need a different messenger for this message.
No, I want him to do this.
Oh no, we have a good messenger because I didn't go out there and do that. And I kept the principle, being a West Indian man, that's strange, that I wouldn't ever leave somebody in that type of position.
In what type of position?
I'm an exemplary person to speak about that. Because if I'm not going to truly be
wait, hold on. I know you might not agree with Kenny, but he's not wrong.
No. I'm not saying he's wrong. The messenger is wrong. That's why it's funny. Because like you making it seem like you get bitches, bro. You don't. No, you didn't have an issue. Like you were never in a position to be having 2-3 kids in 2 years. That wasn't your thing. That's why I'm saying the messenger is different. No, like say
I want to battle the logic.
I know what I'm saying. I know what your get down is. If you were saying this, bro, I'd have been on mute.
Willie,
or if you were saying this, I'd have been on mute. Kobe, because you in Dallas, I'd have been on mute. But
Willie,
Kenny,
you leave with your wallet. And you light skin.
Hold on. I don't want us to get too far off the topic. Hold on, Willie, hold on.
Blockchain, no, he won't the smoke.
Willie,
he won't the smoke. You gotta let him have it.
I seen you. You got hips. You got childbearing hips.
Hold on.
Kenny, don't do that. Kenny, don't do that. Gooch, don't do that, Gooch.
You ain't talking to me.
See,
Kenny, you never had a 6-pack in your life.
hey, Gooch, don't
Bro,
do
you
that.
called him a
You real
pookie
dope
when you
having a
a
conversation.
felon.
Y'all
Like
have the
you been to
conversation.
jail, bro. You can't call nobody a pookie when you went to jail. Like you out here strong arming bitches. You can't call him a pookie.
No. Oh,
Like, what
wait,
you
you read
talking
my
about,
criminal
bro?
record?
Like, what
Oh,
are you,
okay.
Kenny? You are not in a position to criticize nobody about doing some shit that you've never done
Actually,
before.
I am regarding
You're
these
not.
subjects.
You're a West
If
Indian
you're
man
talking
that
about
didn't get no
these
bitches, and
subjects,
now you're
I'm
trying
a
to call
rags.
somebody a
Wait.
pookie because
I'm a
he
rags
clearly
to
get bitches. Like,
riches
what are we
story.
doing?
Hold on.
I'm a rags to riches story.
No, hold on. I want to do this. I want to have this conversation with Kenny.
Okay, go ahead. I'll leave you alone.
Because Kenny's under the impression that right and wrong is just a thing, right? I don't know if he gets that from the Bible, or I don't know if he just thinks it's this unanimous thing in life that it's just a right and there's a wrong. That's not true. It depends on what I believe in, and it depends on what you believe in. You got to hold me accountable to what I believe in. Like if we were having a conversation and you said, "All right, this is my worldview," all right, I might look for inconsistencies that you to prove you wrong about. Oh, you're inconsistent here, but I would never say that. Oh, you got to believe in my book, or oh, you got to get married to people. Like that's you can't say right and wrong when it comes to that.
No, I didn't say about that. You didn't stay with the woman and show leadership qualities when you were old enough. You used the trope that everyone was doing this bad habit, so I indulged in it, so it was okay. At some point in time, you tricked that woman into believing that you loved her, and you put your seed inside her and left her. Did you not?
No.
At no point in time did you ever utter the words that you loved her or made her believe that you loved her. What caused the breakup? Give me the correction. What made space between you and her?
You want to know between like the women I was with? Okay, I'll be honest with you then. I always was dealing with other women, and I told them that. Then when it came time to for us to be in like a situationship, I never asked no girl to be my girlfriend until the one that I'm with now. Okay, but me and the other ones were in situationships. These were women who I had conversations with. I'm like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. If you want to stick around, that's on you, right? Because they're like, oh, you might change. Cool, you can do that. But this is what I'm gonna do. I never gave a woman a commitment until the woman I'm with right now. Ever in life.
But you was committed to busting a seed inside somebody and not taking accountability for the actions, knowing that you said you were a player, but you still went and did what you did because when in Rome. So you make it make sense now.
So when you say not account, what do you mean accountable for the actions?
You're not accountable. You just gave a whole story that you told her that you are a player, but nonetheless, you went and busted nothing to her and got her with seeds.
Yeah, when you fuck, that's what happens. So when you say not accountable, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm not accountable?
You're not. You just gave a whole story that I was a player and she knew that. So that means if I'm a player and a woman, I never
said I was a player, but I said I was. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm not ready for.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that you at them times you had a lot of women.
I wasn't in a committed relationship. But also, hold on. Let me say this too though. But they also could not touch no other nigga. Want to add that in there too for you, Kenny?
Oh, so you was pimping.
No, I'm like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. But also, just so you understand, you can't do that. Like you
had a dripping curl.
No, I had no curl. I had no curl.
That kind of doesn't make it better though, because based off what Kenny's saying,
make it better. It might make it worse.
You had a bunch of women that could only rely on you, and you got them pregnant.
Rely on me for what?
For whatever, because you said that they couldn't deal with nobody else.
No, they could only
you were dealing with other people, but they couldn't deal with someone else.
You was a narcissist and a pookie.
So basically, you removed their options, gave them a child, which took them off the market.
Yeah, so you were a narcissist and a pookie.
Hold on. So I gave them a child?
It's your seed.
My guy.
It's my baby.
It's your seed. You implanted the seed in the soil.
No, we fucked.
You had no intention of
being. Yeah, but you nutted in them, right? You could pull out. You could use a condom. You could use birth control. You nutted in them.
Well,
what happens when you do that?
I didn't want to use a condom with them.
Right. So he's right then.
He's right about what?
He's right. You was reckless, and you led them down a bad path.
How was I reckless if I was having unprotected sex with my chick,
a woman that you did not want to keep?
You were having protected sex and busting multiple women that you didn't want to keep.
Okay, so I guess from what I'm gathering here is your worldview says that if I'm going to have unprotected sex inside of a woman, I have to be committed to her and we have to plan a life together.
No,
Nah,
I can answer that.
That's not my worldview.
No. If
So
I am a
what do
man
we-
and I am frolicking among many women, I'm going to be disciplined enough to not do that and wreck that woman's ability to be marketable because I was reckless, I was selfish, I was narcissistic, and I was a pookie.
Okay. Oh
And he
no,
said frolicking, yo.
I understand what you're saying. So I don't have your worldview. I don't think that women with children are not marketable. I'm not like one of those guys who say,
Would you
got
want the
kids,
same
you
for your
can
daughter? Would you
Well, I
want
want
would you want someone to do the same with your daughter as you've done with other women?
my daughter's gonna make her own decisions in life.
No, but what I'm saying is if you could control it and
He's
it was
not
up, like,
answering
I mean,
your
if you had
question.
an
He
influence
asked-
over it,
Let him talk. Keep talking.
I'm saying
Let
like
him
if
talk,
you
man.
had something to say about it, right? Like as a
Yeah.
dad, you had influence on it, and you had the choice for your daughter to get pregnant by someone who's dealing with other women and doesn't have an intention to be
Yeah.
with her long term. Would that be what you want for her?
No. So I would want my daughter
Yes
to
or
make
no?
a
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Hold on.
Yes
I'm
or
gonna
no?
clarify. No,
Yes or no?
I'm
Simple yes or no, dude.
no.
Simple yes or no.
I gotta tell you my. I gotta tell
Is
you
that what you would want or not?
I have to tell you my stance. I can't just say yes or no. That's not a conversation. What I'm saying is, I would want my daughter to make the smart decision for herself and what she wants out of life.
Of course, if you had a say in
Yeah.
it, in that smart decision that your daughter is making, and
Yeah.
you were to give your daughter your opinion or your advice,
Yeah.
would you want the same outcome for her that your baby mothers have?
I would prefer that my daughter and my sons get married and they have kids in a marriage. My
So you
daughters
would
and my
not
sons.
want the same outcome.
So wait,
Yeah,
you
if I could
said
choose-
marriage wasn't good enough for you. You used your
Hold on,
dad
Kenny,
as an
Kenny, hold up.
example.
Before
But
you go,
now you
you're
want
saying is
marriage
that-
for them.
hold on, Kenny,
You never lived the good
before
life.
you go, let me finish with Clout. I just want to clarify. I would prefer that my children, at my big age and I'm in my wise age, I would prefer that they all get married and have children within that relationship. But they're going to make their own decisions in life.
So the answer is that you wouldn't prefer that for them.
Oh, I wouldn't. No, that's not preferable. My situation is not preferable for me.
Okay.
But it's also it's not a situation where, even though like I think that you should be with one woman and have kids and get married. I believe in that now at this point. I believe in that. But also at the same time, I'm not saying that my situation is wrong. There's no right and wrong when it comes to this.
Period.
Is
my
there no
daughter-
right and wrong? Because that's a slippery slope. Because once you start saying there's no right and wrong,
It's
we
not
kind of
slippery.
start doing what the women do. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Then
no. It's not slippery at all.
Because it's okay to say it's wrong because you said it's not preferable for your life, which would mean it's wrong. And it's
No,
okay
but-
to say it's wrong.
It not being preferable does not mean it's wrong.
Hey,
That is what it means. Because
That's
that
not
means
what
that
it means.
because that would mean that another outcome would be the right one.
You made it easy for
No,
me
no,
to
no,
catch
no,
you
no.
tonight.
It not
You
being
shouldn't have
preferable-
bothered me when I was in my European.
No, sure. I'm not. That doesn't mean that it's wrong because I have a preference of this. If,
All right, let me
if I have a preference for thick women and I'm like, oh, this girl just pretty, she's not thick, but that don't mean that she's wrong. I'm
All right,
wrong.
Let me frame it differently, right?
Yeah.
If I hop in my car and my intention is to get home safely, right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't get home safely, I get in an accident. I'm going to say that on the way something went wrong. So if your preference and your intention was to do one thing and it didn't go that way, then that means that something went wrong.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
that's not true. So if you're talking about a car accident, you got to use a different example. A car accident, bro?
Right.
Like that's,
No, it's not about the car accident. You're missing the context
Yeah.
of what I'm talking about. You have a destination.
yeah.
You have a preference. You have an intention, a goal. The
Uh-huh.
goal is to get to a destination safely.
Uh-huh.
If that doesn't happen, then something wrong has occurred. Something went wrong in your plan.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to express is that it's okay to say that
yeah.
it was wrong. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with saying it's wrong.
No. Yeah, but I disagree. I don't think that it's wrong. I don't.
This is
Well,
can I
obviously you do if that's not what you would prefer for your daughter. You've changed your stance. Obviously.
if-
because you think it's
Wrong
wrong.
and desirable aren't the same.
The reason I believe he's saying that it's not wrong is because he view his kids as a blessing and he wouldn't. do
No,
anything.
not even that.
No.
If my
But the
dau-
thing is,
if my
he wouldn't
daughter
want-
goes and has
the
a,
reason why he wouldn't want it, the reason why he wouldn't
No.
want it for his daughter, because
Hey,
even though
Marcus,
he
you
didn't
tried
want
to
to say it
save him.
expressly, even though he didn't want to say it expressly in that verbiage, he expressed essentially that he would not want that for his daughter. And the deep down reason is because it's wrong. And he knows it's wrong.
No,
That's
it's
why
not.
he doesn't want that for
It's
his
not
daughter.
wrong. It's
Not because it's
undesirable.
wrong.
I would want my children to be married because somewhere in his soul, he sees that as a better
There's such thing
option
as a moral compass.
to have a family.
It
That's all
being
I'm saying.
me thinking that it's the best option does not mean that the other option is wrong. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. Of course, I would like for them to be married. You know, they're women. I would like for them to be married, and I would like for them to be in a relationship. Or even my son, it's the same thing. I want you to be married and be together, and and all that, because that's what I believe in. I would never say that. Oh, even though I disagree with how Cam Newton, and Nick Cannon do their thing. I disagree with it, but I would never say that they're wrong due to my worldview. I can't say it's wrong. I'm gonna say, oh, it's not my thing. It's not my worldview.
Because holding them accountable would make you accountable.
No. It's not holding.
Calling them wrong would make you a victim of being wrong as well.
Clout, I can't hold you accountable for something that's not your worldview. I can't. I can only hold you accountable to your worldview and your logic. And if I find an inconsistency,
but
I'll hold you accountable to it.
I agree with you, but a person can also choose not to espouse a certain worldview to not indict themselves. So meaning I could know something is wrong, but refuse to acknowledge that it's wrong, because if I acknowledge that it's wrong, I'm indicting myself because I'm a person who falls into that category. But so that's what it seems like you're doing right now. I'm not saying that, but that's what it seems like. It seems like you're trying not to indict yourself, which is why you wouldn't judge Cam and them, because they're doing the same thing you're doing, essentially.
No, that's a completely reasonable stance that you have, and I can understand how you reasonably would think that you're wrong. I think, in my opinion, right?
It's interesting how you can say I'm wrong, but in all these other moral situations, you can't say right. That's interesting.
No, it's not interesting because I said you're wrong.
Because you can't call behavior wrong.
No. Let me finish. I said you're wrong because you said that. Oh, I think that you're doing this because I feel like you want to absolve yourself of pretty much any type of guilt or responsibility. You spoke on what you think that I feel.
Absolve yourself.
You said something to that. You said something to that degree. You feel like if I indict them, I will be indicting myself, and you feel like that's my position. That's what you feel like I feel, which makes you wrong. If I'm myself and I'm like, yo, you're not right, you're wrong. I can say that. That's different.
Sure.
If I said, Clout, you're over there, and I bet you're feeling guilty under all of that, and you're like, no, you're wrong. I don't feel guilty.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't saying that's what it is. I was saying that's what I think.
Yeah, Daddy, if you do not have a moral compass for what was laid out and the reasons that you gave why it was okay, nobody can change your mind on that. But the perception is that you spoiled a woman that you did not intend to be with. You were old enough to know exactly what you were doing. You were selfish, saying that she couldn't have any other man, but you were frolicking among the lambs, getting lamb chops, mutton, and all type of stuff everywhere. And then you're coming up here and we're giving you the platform to be like, you know what? I was a shit ball back then. I was a pookie. I did fit the traditional role as one, but I aggressed into the man that I am now. Loving father, entrepreneur, businessman. I'm speaking optimistically about you got your mental and spiritual in check, but you were creating bastards back then.
Yeah, I disagree with you.
Which part?
One thing I will say though, bro, I will say you taking this like a champ, so I respect that a lot. It's not an easy conversation. I feel like you're handling it very well.
I just disagree, and it's
no, but I respect the way you're disagreeing. I feel like you're handling it real well. So I'm just
Daddy.
Hey, like I do want to hear from Jacoby and how you feel about what's being said. Jacoby, what's your thoughts?
Dope Daddy, I did this to you.
I mean, shit, bro. It depends on the situation, because just like with Black Chain, he say, he prefer women who has kids, bro. And then there's some dudes like myself who don't have children. I had a couple chicks who had like a miscarriage or whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't have kids. So, I mean, it just, like I said, it depends on the situation. A guy like me, I don't want a chick with kids, but there's some guys like him who prefer a chick with kids. So again, it depends on who you are.
Oh, can I say one thing too?
What's up, bro?
It's just about the it was about the worldview on the fuck. What was I about to say? I had it in my head.
Your conscience playing with you now.
Okay. Here it is. So when it comes to like Kenny, because Kenny was talking about how I was treating the girls or whatever back then.
You went back to it. I told you got hurt.
No. Yo, Kenny, I just want to have a conversation, yo.
Sure.
Cool? All right, so look, I'm not the type of person. If you agree to a certain type of relationship, you agree to that type of relationship, right? If you're a woman and you like, yo, I want to be poly and I want to be with this man and this, like, agree to that. If you're a man and you like, yo, I want to be with this girl and let her be with other guys and I can't date no other men, you agree to that type of lifestyle. What y'all doing is y'all absorbing other people, and it's like, what y'all doing is
my rose-colored glasses so I can hear the rest of this bullshit.
What y'all doing is y'all absorbing people of agency. That's what y'all doing. You saying,
Hey,
oh,
bro.
well, real dope dad. What you did was you took this and you did this with this girl and you did that with this girl.
Travis hurt. Went back to it.
Y'all doing the same thing.
I'll say, I mean,
Y'all
if
doing
you
the same
asking
thing
me,
y'all doing the
if
same
you
thing that they
asking me
do.
to respond on real dope situation, bro, I put it this way, my nigga. For me, whenever I impregnated a bitch, it was on. It literally was on accident, bro. I mean, shit happens. I mean, with you straight up didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And didn't want the bitch in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And to a certain extent, bro, it's kind of stupid, but you know, shit happens. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, bro. As long as you taking care of your kids, then you know, I amend you, bro. As
I
long
do
as you
more.
taking care of, as long
Wait,
as you taking care of them, bro, it's hard to talk shit about you. I mean, everybody got kids nowadays, bro, especially around your age.
I do more than take. I'm responsible for my kids. I'm responsible for how their lives turn out.
we say
I
kids.
respect
But
that.
how many are we talking about?
I got 3 kids.
Okay.
All same child's mother?
No, different moms.
All 3.
How many?
Different.
3.
How many?
All 3.
Huh?
3.
We got him, y'all.
What
got
the
Yeah, 3 moms.
Food, bro.
So wait, all right, wait.
Check this out.
I was about to let that shit rock. I was about to let it rock. I was about to let it rock.
This how thorough I am.
I got he's helping the population. All right, give him that.
Hold up.
This how thorough I am. I got all of my kids, 3 different moms. All of my kids. I don't got no baby mama drama. I don't got none of that, and all my kids is with me.
I would never want to get those baby mamas hot that they put me on the.
It's a lot of guys who can't get custody of one kid.
Wait, all your kids live with you? All your kids live with you?
All my kids, yeah, they got bedrooms. They all got a bedroom. Yeah, they go to school with me. Wake up, take them to school, daddy. You know, get them all that type of stuff. They go. I drop them off to their mom on the weekend.
That's good.
I mean, keep it a band, bro. Keep it a band. You may not have want the chick, but did you low key want kids at the time?
I had my son's mom asked for a baby.
I mean, did you want the baby?
That's not the answer.
I didn't mind.
He asked you if
you didn't mind. I ain't mind.
Which
one is it, bro? Okay,
you ain't want it. I'm gonna express to you
at the time.
I'm gonna express to you my exact mindset at the time, right? My son's mom was my first child. She said, "Hey, I want to have a baby." We was together for a couple years, She said, "Hey, I want to have a baby." I said, "All right, cool. We can have a baby." I didn't care. Now my second,
defend your man. Go get a snack.
Ain't no defense. There's nothing to defend me against,
bro.
There's nothing to defend me against.
You ain't my age. So hey, bro, it's yes or no, bro. So you just you ain't give a fuck. Just hey, fuck it. I'll take the 18 years from a couple kids or whatever the case might be. Like,
look how Willie got you just hanging out. He can't fight.
The reason I don't think that it's meaningful to answer yes or no is because it wasn't a yes or no type of thing.
It was a yes or no question.
What? Nigga, these are. Wait a minute, bro. Hold on. These are whole human lives you got to take care of. Cause what you mean it ain't just a yes or no thing, bro?
All right,
ain't no regular nigga out here like I don't give a fuck. Hey, if you want kids, sure, fuck it.
Jacoby, that's the thing. You said regular nigga. I've never had the mindset of a regular. I've never been a regular nigga. I'm a 7-figure type of guy. Like I'm not. I've never been a regular nigga. My mind has never been like, oh, how am I going to take care of these kids?
You say you a 7-figure type dude?
You a 7-figure
type of nigga.
And so you've been a 7-figure type nigga since you was 24?
No.
Okay, and at the time you say you had your kids between ages 24 to 26, correct?
Correct.
So you was living the average nigga's life during the time.
I didn't feel that way.
You ain't feel that way, but was you?
It's a fact.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you was, and so you mean to tell me you just didn't give a fuck whether or not you had kids or not at the time, bro?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to express to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I said something the other night, right?
Changed.
I said something the other night. I told the guys that I was a provider before I ever had money, right? And they was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" It's all a mindset. I and I don't know if y'all believe this, but I was a get money nigga before I got money.
My nigga, these aren't
all a
cats and
mindset.
dogs, bro. It's not just a, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind type deal when it comes to kids. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
I got 3
For
kids
some
who
people,
live.
it is.
I got 3 kids who live with me, and you're trying to. How many kids you got?
I was supposed to have 2, bro. I don't have any.
You don't have any kids. I got 3 who live with me, and you trying to explain me how serious having kids is?
Bro, no, I'm not trying to
Yeah,
explain to you
bro.
that, but based off what
I
you
pay
said
over
earlier, bro,
$1,000 a
I'm just
month
trying to
out of
understand your
out of-
logic.
I pay
You pay
over
what?
$1,000 a month for for insurance for us.
Hold on. You pay child support?
No, I don't pay no child. I pay insurance. They on my insurance. I'm a self-employed. I got I'm an
So
entrepreneur.
wait. None of your baby mamas took you to the law.
No, I'm not one of them. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say that.
Asking. I need
No,
clarification. There's a lot of things that you leave out, so I got to look under the carpet.
I don't got no child support. I don't got no child support.
Damn.
Boy, that stung you. You came back with
So the only thing that I would say about that is because it seems like it had to be intentional, because it's like, all right, the first time it happened, it's like, all right, cool. Second time, third time, it's like, all right, you can't, like, there's no way that you're gonna have 3 slip-ups at that point. But see, here's what we always tell women, right? We say, look, you are robbing the children of that experience, right? Of having a dual parent household. Most of us believe in that. Maybe you don't, but that part of it is what we usually tell women, because they'll say, well, no, he could pick him up whenever he want, blah, blah, blah. But we're like, nah. He need to be in that house, that discipline, that structure. He needs to be in the house to really relegate shit. You can't, it's not something that you could necessarily do remote as effectively as you would as if you were in the dwelling. So, I mean, if we just use that same logic and bring it to the females, then it's like, okay, there's certain that nurturing, that, not to say that single fathers don't do a better job, but there still are some very important things that you're going to need from that woman for them to have access to. It's just a different ball game, and that's the only thing that I say, because it's not just you at that point. I know you making your life decisions, but once you create a life, now it's decisions that is going to affect everyone. Everyone's going to be impacted. You know what I mean? Like, and then when you have it with separate women, it's like it's tougher, right? I'm sure. Well, I can't say I'm sure, because I don't know what you got going on, but I would imagine that when you have multiple baby mothers, that it can complicate matters. You have to coordinate things, right? It gets weird when you have functions and shit like that, and then you gotta have, like, I don't know about y'all, but I used to have like 4 graduation tickets. They wouldn't give us no more. We had small ass auditoriums and shit. That's everybody, so nobody else can come. That's you. You know what I'm saying? It's different, man. And then you got different like, they want to take them somewhere. There's certain times where they're going to be split. Okay, you're going to go with your mother. You're going to go with your mother. You're going to go with your mother. That type of shit is like, all right, it that complicates matters to me. So that's the only thing that I would encourage men not to do, is to have the multiples. Even if you would have just had somebody you co-parenting, if you got the one, I dig it. But then it's like everybody. And then now you got a woman who you're serious about, who's not part of it, right? So she might want her own. So then that'll make it 4. You know what I'm saying? So it's only going to further complicate matters. So that's I think that's why everybody's trying to, I guess, hold you accountable or whatever.
Hey,
I just
Trev.
want to bring it to the light, huh?
Did y'all change y'all stance on the board?
Let Trev finish his statement, Kenny.
Because I'm about to get you. You said
Hold
you
your
pay
horses.
$1,000 of insurance each month for each kid.
No, all together. I got a family plan.
You got a family plan of what? What is $1,000 to?
You don't know how much medical insurance costs?
You pay for your own insurance. Like, it's not tied to a job. He work for himself.
Oh, that's what he was talking about. I was about to break out the financial house and see what he's talking about, because he just said that I pay for the medical, as you should. Them as your kids. But I'm
God damn.
Yo, so I'm not sure if he wanted to respond to anything that I was saying.
No,
or whatever.
I did, because
I apologize.
I would never advocate for men to do what I do, because I can't say that they're not me. So I don't know what are the chances that you'll actually be able to be with your kids as much as I'm with my kids. I'm with my kids more than I'm with my kids more than 2 married parents. I'm with my kids more than them because I'm self-employed. I work from home. I'm here, like, if my kid's sick, they say, "Oh, Mr. What's the name? Come come get your kids. I'm right there in the middle of the day. They come home with me. I'm with my kids more than like we get home, we do homework, we go to wrestling practice, we go to jujitsu. Like I'm with my kids 24/7. They get all the daddy. And I understand your points of like, so you can go on my Instagram page, right? And you'll see a video of me taking my daughters to Kitty Prom. I went and I bought the dresses. You know, they moms, they got their hair done and all that type of stuff. But for the most part, that was me. That was my thing of like, yo, you know, they having a Kitty Prom. I'm gonna take care of the dresses. You just get their hair done and all that type of stuff. It's honestly really easy. At least for me. I don't know about nobody else. It's easy for me.
Here's the only thing, and that's a great point that you ended with right there. It is easy for you, but for most men, that's not our reality. Something has to be terribly wrong with the woman for us to get full custody. We're not getting that shit off. Most men ain't getting that off. What is it, about 90%, some shit like that? 90, some crazy, like 90% of women get the custody. So if we try that shit, I live in Jersey, which is like one of the worst states. They really favor women. That's not going to be our reality. Mm-hmm. They will, ostracize the father. You ain't getting no visitation. You getting hit with child support, and that's what most men's reality is going to look like. So that's why I always say you gotta be careful how we message things, because not everybody gonna get that off. You were obviously very savvy as to how you did it on that level. You chose women that I guess really wasn't aggressive like that, but some of these women are terrible. I know dudes who have tried to see their children for years and couldn't, and the law doesn't really enforce that. They only enforce the financial side of things. So now the dudes is going to be seriously asked out trying to emulate what it is that you did. So that's part of the problem that I'm having with it, because for most dudes, we hit out here, we try to do that shit. Unless she's a straight up junkie or some shit, it's extremely unlikely that the dude is going to get anything as far as custody is concerned. You're lucky to get dual custody.
I think a lot of guys make a lot of mistakes. A lot of guys is fucking their baby moms. I know that trope of like, you don't deal with a guy, he's still dealing with his baby mom. I didn't touch the women after, I ain't touch them. I always, and also I believe in getting your kids immediately. A lot of guys try to get their kids later after the woman been doing all this work. They've been with the kids 7 days a week and all this type of stuff. Then they want to come in and try and get some custody. From the rip, I was like, yo, I'm gonna do half the work. From the rip, I'm gonna do half the work. Then they became school age. I said, yo, I live in a nice area. They can go to school with me. I don't worry about nothing. I got it. Take care of it. It was just that easy. But I think a lot of guys kind of try and come afterward and then get a custody situation after the woman feels like, this is my child. I've had this baby for this long, and she's been with me, and she's only been able to, I've been doing this and that and the third. Nobody's been picking her up. And I think a lot of guys try to come and get and say, I'm half of the parent, I'm 50%. And the women don't feel like they've been 50% of the parent. But also, I could be wrong. I don't know. But I know for me, I think that for all men, if you do have a situation where you're not with the mother, immediately go like, yo, we can split time. You don't have to have a baby all the time. Let's split time right down the middle.
All your baby mothers are cool?
Yeah. I think so. They're cool. I mean, chicks, every woman get weird every once in a while. So I dealt with them kind of like, hey, I want to move to Alabama with my dad. I dealt with that early on and all that type of stuff, but it was just talking, never had to really I went to court for my one daughter. And two of my kids I had like, because I was with the woman. One of them I had with a woman who I used to deal with. I just dealt with her one time real quick. And I ended up getting a DNA test later on when that baby came out. I didn't plan on having my daughter. But when I did, when I did take the DNA test and it was like, oh, this is your daughter. She said, all right, what do you want to do? I said, drop her off. She's like, really? You got the other two kids? I said, it's cool. I'll figure it out. Just drop her off. And we're gonna fit. She's gonna fit into the schedule with my other babies. So yeah.
Hey, y'all see how y'all just spent 30 minutes highlighting the fact that everything he did was wrong and all this other bullshit, but y'all ain't gave this man no flowers for being a single black father of 3 kids in a house by himself.
I guess
y'all didn't.
you don't
Clout,
listen.
you know what, Clout? You probably did. You did, Clout. I take it back. I take it back, Clout. I take it back, Clout. You did. But for the majority, y'all was trying to replay the shit talking about
the man spiritually that
he
he's
was
right now
he did this,
taking care of his kids and
Ron
such.
is one of the guys where it's like the reason why more black children have fathers than other races do, because of men like him. And y'all can't sit and say y'all talking to a 24-year-old version 8 years later. 8 years ago he did this shit. He don't think that now. Cloud, you cool, bro. I agree with what you were saying. That's why I didn't talk. But Kenny, that was bullshit. So like y'all talking to an 8-year-old version of this man. Like he thought this cool. He thought it was cool to do that shit back then. Look at what he's done since. And then even in the comments,
daddy, he
even
got
in the
you.
chat, the
Good
comments,
friend.
the girls are doing the same shit. And it's funny because these opinions and profile pictures don't match. And then two, for these public pages, for y'all to have y'all kids don't look alike either. So for us to be trying to make fun of him, you're saying for having multiple baby mamas, you're saying have multiple baby mamas and creating broken homes or some shit. That's just not fair.
Make fun or hold them accountable.
Even though I was giving pushback because I think Kenny made some good points, I will say what you're doing is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? At 24, I don't think I would have been able to take it. Bro, I'm about 10 years older than you now, and even the thought of having 3 kids right now is overwhelming for me. So what you're doing is amazing. We need more black fathers. Keep doing it, bro.
Yeah, and listen, I don't feel no type of way either. Y'all saying what y'all believe. I get it. I totally understand it. I do disagree, and at another time we can argue the logic because it's always going to be about the logic. It's not personal with me. It's always about the logic. Thanks. So we can talk more about that another time. Like I do disagree. I do think that y'all doing that thing where you're removing the agency from the other party. You're saying that, oh, you did this to them. How could you do this to her? We don't forget what she signed. Forget about
I can do what I want.
Forget about the contract.
Daddy, forget about I can frolic among the lambs and I could do what I want to you, but you can't have no other man. You forgot saying that?
I don't take issue.
Forget about the contract that person signed. It doesn't matter. They weren't under they weren't under the they didn't have the agency. Like that's what y'all doing. Y'all removing the agency from women. I hope y'all know y'all doing that, right? Y'all doing that.
You keep saying y'all
treating them like they kids. You're saying you.
But we'll go back. Let me say this though. Let me say this because this has nothing to you. You just so happen to be the example you're using. We got to talk beyond you. We got to talk to the other men. What Real Dope Daddy is, I would not recommend no other man do this. I wouldn't recommend our sons, our nephews, or our cousins to do it the way you did it. I would not do that.
But if you do,
that you came out on top. Congratulations to you. Like Will said, congratulations, you came out on top. But the majority of the guys wouldn't be on the other side like you are. They wouldn't have this.
Basically, people don't do it the way you did it.
Now, they will hold on, Cloud. They will still be in court right now fighting for them to even get the right to have visitation. Because, like you said, one of the girls talking about moving to Alabama. They would have actually moved to Alabama. Now he's got to go cross state just to see his son or his daughter or his child. So it's just you fortunate enough it happened in the right way for you. Majority of men it wouldn't. So that's the reason why it was kind of good to have this conversation. We appreciate you being a good sport about it. But fellas, you out there, this is June. June is Men Mental Health Month, and doing something like this can mess with your mental health.
I think fathers need to.
I would just say, don't do it the way he did it. But if you go and do it the way he did it, do it the way he does it. You know what I'm saying?
I think fathers need to have more information about their rights too, because a lot of the stuff you're saying about what should happen, what usually happens, it happens because men don't know what their rights are. For example, if his son's mother had moved to Alabama without his permission, they would have ordered that kid to come back when he went to court. He'd have to go to court and file a motion for contempt to do that, but then they would have enforced that child to come back to where he was because he was the primary caregiver. So she can't just take the kid and abscond to a different state. That's not legal. It happens a lot because men just don't fight it. Most men can't afford what it costs to hire a family law attorney. The average family law attorney retainer is $5,000. The average American doesn't have that safe. And it doesn't have that money disposable for just the drop of a dime. So for these, or what bro was like, you'd be lucky to get physical joint custody with the child. That's not luck. That's something that you just have to negotiate. So if more men knew what their rights were, I don't think that a lot of these things would, like, it's sad that you guys think that's normal, and it's not, and not automatically think that it's cool because, hey, well, we just don't know what we're capable of. We don't know what our rights are because most men don't exercise them. And that's like one of the nonprofits that I work with closely is called Fathers First. And we look at cases like this on a you're saying on a case-by-case basis, and we'll pay for someone to go get a lawyer if the case is too far gone. But usually it's just guys not knowing what they have the access to, and then also knowing what their rights are. Because once you know what your rights are, all of that shit y'all said tonight is not, it's not true. Like, it's not. And someone brought up Georgia. So the cool part about Georgia is that all of these things affect Georgia is a shelter state. So what they'll allow you to do is they'll allow you to stay there while the court hearing goes underway. They won't issue an order for you to send that child back in the middle of the hearing. But that's still, again, it's still illegal, and it's going to also end up having to get his shit back. So, but yeah, I'll land there. But that father stuff is something that I'm kind of an advocate for. So anytime I see a dad doing what he's supposed to do with his kids, regardless how the fuck they got here, you know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna go to bat for them.
I know for me, like when it came down to like the time where I thought I needed to be like I was going to go to court for something. I went to court for my daughter early on when she was like 8 months old, and her mom told me like, oh, you can't see her one time. I said, all right, see me in court. But when we got to court, she was like, all right, he can split custody. It was easy. I think the second I even thought I might have been put on child support, I went and I did so much research that same night. I could have been a lawyer 2 days later. I could have been a family law attorney. That's how much research I did. I had found on the internet that I could just call a lawyer and talk to him for $100. So I called a lawyer. I got on the phone with him. I'm just asking him questions. I'm asking him this. I'm asking him that. But this brings me back to the situation where a lot of us don't do that, and that's one of the things I don't like.
Research.
A lot of men don't research. A lot of men like this. All they say 80% of women file for divorce. I beat them to the punch. I was the plaintiff. When I did go for my daughter. And I think a lot of men, they're not doing the research. They're not showing any fight. And that's one of the things that I don't like.
Yeah,
Well,
but
go ahead, Jeff.
I was just gonna say before we even do it, I think because from the stories, including myself, I'm guilty, is that a lot of children are birthed into this world, and it wasn't part of the plan. So I think that it's too late for us, but I think if we gonna bring some children, then we gotta understand how much sacrifice, time, I've said this before, it takes in order to be a parent. You basically are giving up your life. And if you're not giving up your life, then your kids are missing out on it. And if you don't want to be a part of it, then we got to be a little bit more responsible, because that's what's creating all these issues a lot of times, because they're not coming in environments that are healthy, and they're not planned, and they become an inconvenience for us, because a lot of us still trying to live our life. We're still trying to get our groove back. We're still trying to relive those childhood moments that we never got the opportunity to. Not because we got money. So I think we got to do better planning when it comes to children. Be intentional with the relationships. Be intentional with who you lay down with. Be intentional where you put your seed. And blockchain is absolutely right. A lot of men don't know their rights. I know somebody that hired an attorney, and they felt like their attorney wasn't doing good enough. And so they researched, and then they fired their attorney, and they represented themselves. Because, and I know a couple of attorneys, once you retain them, you don't know what type of version you're going to get. And so that's why you have to be able to be in tune with what's going on with the attorney. So it's kind of sad to say, because you think about it, you pay your attorney to do this work, but your attorney is not doing the work. So you have to watch your attorney. It's almost like when your kids bring homework home, it's like, I don't want to have to teach you this. I don't want to have to do this. But if they don't know how to do it, then now you got to do the homework with them. So it's like you're doing your homework. You're doing the homework with them, and you're being a part of something that you really wasn't prepared to do. But just be intentional with bringing the kids in, and understand how much sacrifice it takes to actually be a parent/father.
Hey, so for anybody who's looking to
Another thing I always make sure I talk about is making sure you know your family laws in your prospective state. Every state has their laws. Make sure you know them, get to know them, especially if you're in a situation where you are just a baby daddy. You really need to know your family laws, because the first thing one of you need to do is make sure you establish paternity. That's one of the things you got to do. Make sure you do that. So
especially in states like Georgia, you got to establish paternity up front. But for anybody trying to vet an attorney for family law, one of the things that you should look at is kind of like people who do criminal law. You want to look at saying how the outcomes they're getting for their clients, right? And when you're having those free conversations like that, that consultation, ask them, how long have you been doing this, right? I'm not trying to be funny because, they say a doctor that graduated today with a C, whatever. If he's been doing this shit for 2 or 3 years, trust me, he's only doing family law because that's the only way he can eat. He can't reach or access people who can get him the other types of law where he'll make a bunch of money. So you want to find someone that's been doing family law because it's a passion for 10 plus years. And then you want to ask them to see some of their previous case results because they'll share that with you. It's not going to be any PI, but they can say, for one father, I got this. This is what we're doing. I negotiated this type of visitation for him. Like, you have to ask questions the same way like you're trying to vet a woman, because you finna pay this man at least $5,000. And then on top of, so for me getting custody of my kids, right? It cost me $180,000 between going to court, changes of venue, delays, and all the other bullshit stipulations that she was trying to pull because she's in the military. It's easy to hide behind that. But one of the things that I learned is that the money that I'm paying to my attorney, if he wasn't doing things like Hink said that I knew to expect, and that if I didn't see him taking things that I knew that I wanted to do, I would have had a problem. But because I researched him, bro had 25 years in, bro, he's gotten custody for the last 15 men that have wanted it. I knew that was my guy, so I paid for it. The problem is that most of us don't have access to resources that we can do that. We can Google shit all day, and it's super disingenuous to think that anybody can go read some shit and then know how to argue in court. Most people don't even know how to articulate their points when they go to court. For example, you can't say, oh, she was a mean person to me. She did this and she did this. You have to say it like, well, my experience with her is this. You can't call her a bitch. You have to categorize her behavior as a bitch. So like, those are just the nuances that attorneys understand. So when you're in these courtrooms with these places, you're not going to have these problems. So when guys go in here and think that, okay, well, I'm going to watch a YouTube video about Georgia law, and then now you're mad because you can't see your kid and you're paying $2,700 a month for one child because they calculate more of your income and your retirement, disregard your taxes, and then any type of tournament winnings or whatever, all that other type of shit. Like, most people can't do that. So it will just behoove you, to Clout's point earlier, probably just to be careful when you have kids. Because if you're not having kids with someone you married to, which fortunately I haven't done that yet, if you aren't having kids with someone you married to, you have no right to that child. Like, it's not by default. You have to go and establish your right to that child. When you're married, it's automatic. It's inherently your right. So most dudes don't know that. Like, and it's not fair. I wouldn't say it's fair to expect us to either until we're in that situation. None of us studies for a test we don't know we're going to take. None of us do.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
I think it's important that we speak about it. That we just continue to try and educate whenever we meet younger guys, try and educate them on, stuff like that. Just things that we know that we wouldn't know. Like, I know they got mad at me, but like when they asked me like, what would you want for your kids? I said I want them to get married, have kids. I was on the same time as Hank when it come to like, I don't tell other people to like, do what I did and stuff like that. So, but I think it's important that we educate the younger men on the mistakes that we've made, or things that we didn't see when we was in their age.
Yeah, I think one of the best things we can do is be real about the mistakes and situations we put ourselves into. It makes for a better future for the youth.
I told my son to get a vasectomy as soon as I found out what college he was going to.
Where you going?
He went to the University of North Texas. So, and he at the house. So I was like, listen, his mom said no, she didn't want to do it. So, but I was like, you can get that shit reversed in 10 years. You'll be 28.
Yeah, but it's child abuse. What are you talking about? Child abuse.
He still,
you can get it reversed, but it's risky because it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. You might end up with multiple surgeries and shit like that. It definitely reduces your chances.
Right, and so is having a relationship with the wrong woman. I think that's equally, if not more, risky.
Yeah, but that still takes even without having children with women.
Yeah,
abstinence. A relationship period
guarantee you
break it down.
Well, I'm definitely not practicing. I can't tell my kids to be abstinent because when I was my son's age, I was fucking. That's where he came from. So I can't necessarily sit here and tell him that. Like, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and be like, hey, son, when you're in college, you need to not hit nothing and just give hugs and grab some ass. That's not how that works. And then he's an athlete, so it's impossible. Like y'all keep saying, tell kids about condoms. More kids are spending money on Plan Bs than they are condoms. Like,
you know what though? You know what's crazy though? I think that sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we actually could do, because it's not happening to everybody, right? Like I said before, teenage pregnancy is already down. There are less people already doing it, and most other cultures don't even speak like that. Not everybody's experiencing this, right? Not everybody has a high teenage pregnancy rate. Not everybody's going to get knocked up or have a bunch of sexual partners in college. There's plenty of people. If you talk about Asians per se, they sometimes do not have many sexual partners at all. You know what I'm saying? And they don't feel like it's unrealistic. It's just part of that culture, and they good with it. And whatever. I'm not, if that's not what you want to do, if you want him to have that experience, I can't knock you for that. That's cool. But what I don't want us to say is that it's impossible or unrealistic. If we instill those values in our children, like other cultures decide to, which we're well capable of, if not more capable of, then we could have them to do anything they want. It's unrealistic for a person to try to be an entrepreneur because most people fail at their businesses, right? But if you know what you're doing and you give the person the specifics on how to accomplish that, right, then they will do it. I think we could have that same type of principle.
I think it's damn near detrimental to have your sons be virgins, but that's, I guess,
100%. Like I think so.
say.
I say it kind of as a joke. Like I told him to get a vasectomy, but it's the same way. Like I said, I want my daughter to be a lesbian when she grow up, because that way I ain't got to worry about her getting pregnant, because ain't nobody got pregnant from a plastic dick. So I don't want her to discover men until she's 30, because then she can have, that's fine. But like I don't have to worry about nothing with her. You know what I'm saying? Because it's safe. That's all I was trying to do, was tell my son. I was trying to protect my son from making the mistakes that I made at his age. Because when I was my son's age with his mother, I was very irresponsible with my dick. Obviously, because him and his brother are here. So I know the one surefire way to make sure that he doesn't make those same mistakes, because he's going to fall in love. He's going to find somebody, all the other stuff, right? Having a bad relationship fail is one thing. Having a relationship fail when kids are involved is another. And I had a relationship fail with his mom when there were 2 children involved. If I could go back in time and do it all over again, I promise you, like y'all was asking mine, I would do it differently. And I wouldn't want that for my children. So I found a way, albeit somewhat extreme, potentially, for them to avoid that. But I only have to worry about it with my oldest son, because he's the athlete. My other sons are nerds, so they just like money, building stuff, and they'll be fine. But my oldest son is a college athlete. So what that, for all of y'all have been college athletes at some point, y'all know what that looks like when you go to school. So
I had this same conversation. They disagree. A lot of people disagree with me. Made videos about it and shit. But
bro,
it's a different experience.
So at the very least, I would say at least you gotta use protection, because there's not only the pregnancy that we have to worry about, right? People running around with that Batman Forever. A lot of these girls, like some of y'all said, it was extremely nasty. So we got a lot of things going on. This ain't the 60s and all of that shit where it wasn't that deep. Now, like, it's not just the clap. You got like a lot of permanent situations we worried about right now. So regardless of it's not just about the children having children. We have to worry about their health.
Dude, I think the worst thing that you can do is give somebody advice that's they're not going to follow. So like, for example, you know how like the best trainers will tell you like, yo, I want to meet you where you are. I don't want to bring you into the gym and tell you got to be here for 2 hours and we got to be doing HIIT workouts the whole time. What I'm gonna tell you is to like just make it to the gym. If you only got 30 minutes, be there for 30 minutes. If you got 20 minutes, get there for 20 minutes. Only go 2 times a week. Start slow. So like, for example, my mom told me 2 things. One of them I didn't follow. One of the things I did follow. She said, yo, use condoms. And the other thing she said was like, yo, don't have sex with no woman who you don't want to be the mother of your kid. I felt like telling a man like don't have sex with no woman that you essentially wouldn't marry is not going to work. Like I'm like, mom, you're not like what? Huh? Like she looked like that. Yeah, she not gonna be the mom of my kids, but I'm gonna hit her. Like,
so you didn't listen to your mom?
No, I ain't listen to my mom. I use condoms for the vast majority of the time I was having sex until I turned like 24 and I got in relationship, kind of situationship or whatever. But for the vast majority of the time, I never took the condom off. But you know, when it came to like only have sex with a woman that you in a relationship with, that you want to see that you can see as the mother of your kids. I didn't necessarily think that was realistic. It can be for some people, but for some people it's like, nah, mom, I want to take her down right there. So,
bro, my pops told me if I have to use a condom, I shouldn't be having sex. At 16, I thought my dad was telling me to go out here and raw dog bitches. That's what at 16 is what it meant.
That's what it sounds like.
At 30, when I'm telling my son, I shouldn't sleep with women that I have to protect myself from in any way. So if I'm worried about catching something, getting them pregnant, or anything like that, I shouldn't be sleeping with them. So cool, right? I get it at 30, but at 16, some of this shit we just aren't thinking like that when we give this. Some of that advice is like it's ill-timed.
So Will, my mom told me everything that glitters ain't gold, and showed me STDs in a book and told me about wrapping it up. She also said you don't need to have one girlfriend. You need to space girlfriends out if you walking by 10 blocks and if you driving by a town.
Yeah, I like your mom, bro. She sound cool.
Yeah,
like because
I sound like a pimp.
It took me like I'm thinking, no, Dad, I'm still strapping up. Like I didn't have unprotected sex until I was married. So like I dodged that, right? But then at the same time, the advice was still stupid to me because I'm like, my pops told me to not use a condom if I'm having sex. Like that's it never clicked. And then like I'm like damn near 30, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. That now I get it. If I gotta protect myself from you, I shouldn't be sleeping. Okay, I get it now. But at 16, man, I thought my dad was just trying to set me up for failure.
All right, let me get to these.
I'm glad you did say that though.
Get to these super chats. D-Rob, $10 says, keep on keeping on with the men's therapy, Mr. Lapeef. This prism is fueled by the ism. We also got D-Rob again, $10 says, young dope and blockchain. This is what man is supposed to do. Take care of everything. We don't need no cookies for being a man. And lastly, Brown with a $3 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Jacoby, man, it's your first time up here. Appreciate you, man, for joining. We enjoyed you, man. Yeah,
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah. I mean, I was sitting there trying to read you. I didn't know if you was zoning out on us or not, man.
No, bro, I was listening to everybody. I feel like it's kind of hard for me to, join in on this topic because again, I don't have kids myself, bro. So
no, that's
hey,
understood, man.
You in Dallas, bro? Go to Haters and get you some Mexican food.
You say go where?
Oh, Haters.
Oh, Haters.
I put it in the chat.
Bet.
Yeah. I mean, just stick around for it.
Because I'm still kind of new to Dallas, bro. So definitely do that.
Oh shit, let's get you plugged in.
Hey, Jacoby, stick around.
Cali.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me go ahead and end this live. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. Catch us next time. We out. We're going live tomorrow.